How's it going, guys? It's Tuesday night. I got my man Corey Davis over here. We're here to talk a little bit of football, talk a little bit of life, and have a little bit of fun. So if you're here, we're glad you made it. If you're coming in late, we're glad you're here again. Or if you're watching us on replay, that's fine. But we're just here again because we're just two guys that can't get enough of the 49ers. How you doing, Corey?
I'm doing good. Just was having a oh, if you don't mind me mentioning this, I went to the doctor today to the physical therapy,
Yeah.
and my arm was doing good. I could do it like this, up, cross, and then so the doctor told me just keep on doing that, exercising it, and it's doing a lot better than it was. Only time it hurts a little bit if I go reach behind my back like this.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
It's probably a nerve. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's a nerve. Sometimes when I was driving from Stockton to Livermore, I'd get a pinched nerve in my back, right there above my butt, and I'd try to do everything I could, but I'd be walking like this for a long time, and then all of a sudden it'd go away. So
Yeah. Yeah. The doctor said just stay away from reaching behind your back for a little while, you know,
yeah, no reach around.
until your arms get strong enough to go. Once we finish doing this and doing this, and then when you notice it's not hurting no more, go behind your back. Then start practicing on behind your back.
So I got a hula hoop out of my garage. I usually bring it in the house. It stays in the house, but my little bulldog, my wife's bulldog, he likes to jump up. And I don't know if he thinks it's like the circus or something like that. He's trying to jump through the roof or the ring or something like that. Let me finish this real quick, and I'm gonna bring on our man David real quick. But so I'll be hula hooping, and he wants to try to come up and bite the side of the ring. So I put it outside in the garage for a little while, but I'm meaning to bring it back in because I got girls and we like having dance parties. We'll turn on the music and we start, like hula hooping in the house. And I got a nice big living room, so we got a nice free space. So I don't know. Maybe start hula hooping, Corey, if you feel. I know you ride your bike, so but maybe it was just the way you slept. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna go ahead and do this for me if you don't mind. I'm gonna bring in our man, David McNiner, but I need you to do the intro if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right, coming in.
Coming in, my man, David McNiner.
What's up, fellas? Thanks,
Let's
Corey.
go.
That's
Hey
always
guys.
great, buddy.
Well, we're just talking a little bit of sports, having fun, 49er football. You know me, you and Corey, we can't get enough 49er football. So we just want to have, a nice conversation. It can go any which way or what. I will have a special guest. Tony will be popping into the stream shortly. She's got some mom duty, and I might be rotating out. So you guys might just have a show with Tony here in a little while. We never know. But it's gonna be fun, and we're just again just talking. Corey was talking a little bit. Sounds like his arm's doing a little bit better, and want to know how you're doing. I know you messaged me, said you weren't feeling too good. Did you get any chicken soup today,
I
or?
was I was so sick this morning. I was just dying. And I'm sitting there going like, why am I going to work? You know? That was my first thought. I've never I've worked there since like late 2019. The previous job I was at for 19 and a half years, and I could count how many sick days I'd missed there on one hand. But so, I'm heading to work, and it's just because we're shorthanded, and finding people that know what we know is incredibly hard. And so I go in, and I get some work done. I find, the boss man knows I'm sick, so he makes me go do something where I'm sitting down for a while. And then all of a sudden the office lady's like, I need all this tooling pulled. It's raining, 40 degrees, and windy outside. I'm going, we have this big old awning. That's where all the tooling's at, is it's way under the awning on shelves. So I'm sitting there like, why today? Can it wait till tomorrow? No, I need it today. I'm like, the thing is I got it, but it'll probably sit there for 2 days. It's just, I don't know. But this is kind of a story. The old maintenance guy is kind of, I mean, he was good, really good at some things, but most he wasn't. And he had to compact a shelf and put it all together. And what he did was he left this box on the shelf, and he put a shelf, those big steel shelves that they pop in. You know what I mean? He put a shelf right on top of it. It's like, okay. He didn't measure the box. I'm trying to pull this thing out with a forklift. It ain't coming out. I'm looking at this like, this is like the most awkward stuff ever. The one good thing he did is he left a very long extension cord out there. So I was able to go get the Sawzall, climb on the shelf, lay on it, and literally shave the top of the box to get it out.
I hear you. I cut 2 refrigerators at work the other day because, they're dead refrigerators. They don't have any, freon in the back, any gas in the, liquid in the compressor. So what do I have to do? I got to cut up a freezer and the, refrigerator, both, sections, because why we don't want to get a dump run. And it's just funny. It really is. I'm gonna bring in Joe real quick, and I gotta pause because I got Korey here. Korey is my intro man, if he doesn't mind. So let me bring in Joe. And we'll keep talking.
Coming in, my man. Even though he's a Seahawks man, my man. Oh, Stevens.
It's happening.
What's happening?
What's going on, Joe?
What we doing? Bryant just sent me a link. He's like, "Hey, I'm going live at 7:50. What's going on?"
We're talking sports, kind of 49ers, but you're always welcome to throw in your tidbits about stuff. Because honestly, you're here. You bring a different perspective to the chat. Really respectful. We really appreciate your input. I do. And there's been a couple things that's happened 49ers, so we can talk a little bit. There's been a couple of transactions that's happened in the league, so we can talk over all that. There will be a special guest tonight. Tony will be popping in a little bit later, so if you guys got some questions for her maybe or something, she'll be coming in later. I'll be featuring her. But for the most part, we're talking. And that leak, that drywall repair I did the other day, yeah, I was telling Korey, it's leaking again, so I had to cut that ceiling out again. So I'm not very happy.
No. Damn it, Bryant! You're gonna get fired.
No, because I patched the ceiling right, and I found the leak. I did my job. We bring out the plumber. He goes ahead and does this thing. I go and talk to the CD. I'm my own supervisor, but I work with the community director. I'm like, hey, this is what I suggest as a maintenance guy. We should probably have them crimp the pipe. Well, how much does that cost? Well, that's a couple $100 more. Let's have them put the boot on it. Okay. So a couple days later, they're back. So I don't know. Maybe we'll revisit that later. I don't know. But for the most part, as long as it don't leak. But for me, I would just sometimes, you just replace the whole pipe or you crimp it when you need to crimp it. You don't just put a boot in it or a sleeve in it. But, it happens, and sometimes, when they say the job's $800, you're like, whoa, it's $800. When they say it's going to be $1,200 because they got to go rent a tool and it's going to be another hour. And you're like, oh my God, can you just stop the water from dripping? So yeah, we stopped the water from dripping for like 3 days. We solved the problem. So
nice.
Yeah. Kidding. My owner was like telling me, Dave, get up on the roof and get the swamp coolers going. Here I am sick. I'm like, And I know it's going to rain. So I figured if I take a minute, it's going to start raining and I ain't going to be able to get up on the metal roof safety. Right. So that's exactly what happened. But then I go turn the water on to fill the swamp coolers up and then turn it off so I can go adjust the floats and make it so stuff ain't just running out everywhere. And one of the water lines is broke. It's literally raining inside. I was like, ain't that something? You know,
it's always fun when it happens certain ways, you know. And
well, it's like when did I become the maintenance man? You know, yes,
yeah.
I'm good at fixing things. I'm good at odd jobs. You know, like that box I laid in there with the Sawzall and shaved it so I could get it out. You know, I figure out how to do something. Yes, but why is it always me? You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it's because I don't complain and I just do it.
You're the
Maybe
guy.
that's
What's
it.
up, Lily?
Hello.
Well, everybody, welcome to the show. This is Tony. Tony, my beautiful wife.
Hello,
She,
Tony.
What's up, Tony?
She's
Hi,
here.
Tony.
I
Good
wanted
afternoon or evening.
I wanted to get her on. She's a big 49er fan. If you guys have any questions for her, ask her. She's great. She's amazing. And I wanted her to have a couple minutes on the panel with everybody, so she's gonna be chopping it up. And then, you know, if she has to dip out, that's or I'll dip out. Maybe I need to go check on the babies. You know, we need to make sure it's equal. So not to put too much you know, I'm not blasting my wife, you know, but I want to definitely highlight her. She made a video today and she was talking a little bit about ALS. And if you guys,
2 videos. The first one I dropped had like terrible video quality, and then the second one I recorded and reposted it as take 2.
so if you get an opportunity to go and watch, please watch take 2. Take 1 is a little blotchy, but it's the information's still there. It's just we're still figuring out the audio. So
Yeah,
It sounded
talking
good
about-
over the Jeep stereo. I listened to it on the way home from
nice.
work. You know, I was listening to it. I don't think it sounded bad at all. But yeah, that's
Thank
actually that's a subject that no one really brings up though. You're really onto something there. You know,
Yeah, because
you really
everybody's
are.
talking about the same thing over and over, you know, and there's really not much to talk about during the off season, and you know, everybody just keeps making these rumors about things that may or may not even really happen. And then, you know, the only time I ever hear about ALS is during the time when somebody's, you know, talking about a person's legacy after they've died, but it's like 1 day a year. But how about the rest of the year, 364 other days, and nobody's ever really saying much about it. And I think the first time I really ever heard of it, I was in my early 20s. I had a neighbor, and she was telling me about a friend that had Lou Gehrig's disease, and I just remember the look on her face of concern when she was talking about her friend. And I was just like, wow, but I'm 20 years old, so I didn't really find much of an interest into digging deeper into it. And then Dwight Clark died, and he was the second time I've ever heard of ALS. And everybody's talking about different football. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to check this out. I'm going to see what ALS is really about. And then I started like doing more research about it, and I just kind of got almost like emotionally like tied into it because it was one of those topics that it affects a lot of people and a lot of pro athletes too, especially if the ones that are taking the hits to the head. And, you know, I don't want to hear about somebody like CMC one day, you know, 10 years down the line coming out saying he has ALS or something. And it's just one of those things. I was like, wow, this is crazy because a lot of pro athletes end up getting this. I just never thought of it because I never enriched my own personal information to go and find out more information about it.
So one thing that's really interesting to me that she brought to light to me too is okay, I know Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, is the same thing, right? But I didn't know too much about it. I knew it was degenerating muscles, and it really sucked if you got it, right?
Well, it got national attention when Lou Gehrig died from it.
It did, and it got even more attention after your boy from the Saints.
Yeah, Steve Gleason.
Thank you. He brought a lot of light to it. So
he actually has a movie called Gleason, and it was really heartbreaking. And you don't ever pity these people because the amount of effort and strength that they're putting into their daily lives of even just trying to survive it. But I had found out that him and his wife, they had 2 children, and his son being firstborn was named Rivers, and the extent that he went to record his life and all these fun adventures for his son to have these memories of this fun dad that his dad was before the Lou Gehrig's taken, you know, his control and ability to be active. And he still plays an active role with his family because his family makes sure that they go the distance to find whatever it is that is provided or that Steve Gleason can take advantage of to stay active in his family's life. But he can't speak. He actually speaks with his computer in front of him. He uses his eyes to talk to people because he has like this trachea tube because he's lost the function to be able to speak. And it's just really sad, but it's really like heartening also because the fact that he still is trying, he's surviving, and he's not letting it take him. And it's kind of one of the things I liked about when Dwight Clark had come out and said it. He actually waited like 2 years after his diagnosis to come out and tell anybody about it. And it was only because it was obvious at that time that he was sick. But it never stopped his smile. The man always had a smile on his face, even till the time when he had passed. He always wore his smile, and it was really nice to know that, you know, even with a disease so ravishing as that somebody could still smile as big as Dwight Clark did.
And what was interesting to me after she did a lot of research and she did talk to me a little bit about it, well, a lot about it. One thing that really triggered me is it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a football player or a boxer and you get ALS. It means it's
traumatic head injury.
It could happen to anybody.
Proteins that you're born with.
So maybe you're not eating right, or maybe, you know, you, like she said, got major concussions in your life and that's something that triggered it. But you could be somebody who doesn't play sports at all and could end up with ALS. Or you could be somebody that, you know, is very dominant on a sports team and very, very, you know, superstar-like athlete, or someone who just made the team. And one too many blows to the head, one too many hits can trigger it. And at a certain point, it's really just generating to your body. And if there is a way for us to be able to maybe focus on certain diseases and start aiming for it, it's weird because, like, cancer. Why isn't there a cure for cancer? Why isn't there a cure for ALS? Well, because not enough people put their foot down and said, we want this solved. And I think until we come together as a community and say, hey, this is something that we need to do, or we need to start looking at. Like, we brought it up on the show the other day. Why is there world hunger? Because we don't care. You know, we can feed everybody in the world. It's about the money. So I know it went a little different, but I do appreciate, you know, Tony coming in and talking. If you guys have any questions for her about ALS or any other questions in general about, you know, 49ers or anything, we're gonna keep it a wholehearted show. But I did want to get her thoughts on that because she's hitting home on it, and I think it's one of those things that we do need to talk about more. So.
Well, let me ask, because because I did research about a former 49ers player, but he was playing in the 82, and he actually had died from ALS, but his name was Eric Skogins, and he was a linebacker in 82. He only played like 3 games. Does anybody remember him?
No, oh, man.
I only read that he played only 3 games, so he obviously didn't make that big of an impact, but I was like, wow, he played 3 games. That still counts.
I don't know if I can bring up the collage. I'm going to see if I can bring up the collage.
Toenail collage? Oh.
There it is. All right. So Tony made this, and I'm going to let her talk.
No toenails.
No, not this show.
Well, maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday.
Just no toenails, please.
So all these guys right here are all former 49ers, and they might have played for the team for a couple days or whatnot, or a couple years, different seasons. But the guy she was talking about is Eric Skogins, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. But he ended up dying, and all these guys right here are.
And in my research, what's really weird is that the first 3 49er players to have died from ALS were all part of the 1964 team. So I don't know if that team just took like a lot of hits for 3 guys of the same team to end up dying from the same disease, only just a couple years from each other. The first one died in 86, the next one died in 87, and the next one died in 89. But they all played on the same year of 64. So it's like, wow, that's pretty wild.
That was before the NFL went buck wild with their safety equipment too. You know, back then things were really rough. The rules were different, you know. Like a guy got an ACL, his career's over back then. You know.
Mm-hmm. But now, like Frank Gore, he can tear both of them and come back as a star for the NFL.
Oh, I know, right? That guy was the greatest story, I swear.
He really is.
So Tony, you put out a poll. I follow you on Twitter, by the way. You put out a poll asking if the 49ers are going to sweep the division. What? I'm not going to lie. I have to pee really fast. But on my way back, I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts whether they're going to sweep the division or not. I'll be right back. Okay. I apologize.
That's okay. Okay, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, so
I'm just glad he didn't take us with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve asked that question in chat. I want to ask it too. How did you become a 49er fan? Was it Bryant that persuaded you, or you was not a fan
majority of my family members? I was a 49er fan before Bryant. A majority of my family were Niner fans. My mom, her cousins, and then my her cousin's son. So my cousins, they were Niner fans. And then my uncle, he was a Raider fan. And then I have an uncle who's also a Cowboy fan. So I've had a very mixed type of family. But I did like the 49ers. I favored the 49ers for a long time, since I can remember as a little child. And then when Bryant came in, I just got all my knowledge that way. So I went from just being a fan to actually knowing more about the team. So I'm like, oh, that's what they do. Okay.
Well, it was kind of fun because like her dad's a Saint fan and her mom's a 49er. So when those two teams play, it's always fun. And her dad to this day always, he reps. He's not like the biggest football fan, but he does talk about the Saints and ask how they're doing, or he'll say, "Hey, I seen they beat the Niners," or he'll say, "Or we can't." So he's always, trying to, keep it, nice and relatively, friendly. But he's not, again, the biggest football fan. He's more of a car racer, NASCAR guy. But her mom's more of a football fan. But you got your football fans that necessarily like they can give you facts, and then you got your football fans that, hey, live or die. It don't matter. We lost. We're still wearing the shirt tomorrow. That's her mom. Her mom is a Niner. It doesn't matter. 5 Super Bowl champions, 8 Super Bowl champions, or no Super Bowl champions. Her mom's a Niner, and it's just because her mom's family was all Niners except for a couple of them. Her uncle,
her 2 brothers. She has 2 brothers, and one was a Raider fan, and one unfortunately is a Cowboys fan. I still make fun of them.
Yeah, it's fun. And that's how my dad's friends with her uncles and stuff, because my dad's a Raider fan. So obviously the Raiders got together and became friends. And the Cowboy guy, we just bring him along because we don't feel bad for him. You don't want to feel
the guy.
Yeah, you can't feel bad for him too much. I mean, like
he made a great DJ.
He got a star for a reason, right? So,
but back to Joe's question, I do believe that the Niners can potentially sweep the season again this season, or sweep the division, this season. I'm a little concerned about the Geno Smith guy, because now that we're dealing with a different quarterback this year than we were last year.
Well, he was there last year, but he was good last year.
We went through 4 quarterbacks last year, so it's kind of hard to say what we're going to have this year with a quarterback because we went through 4. So that kind of makes me feel iffy because I don't know what to expect as far as with the quarterback situation. The other guys on the line are fine as far as, you got CMC and Debo and Ayuk and now Jawan Jennings and all these other players. Hey, even what's his name, Ray McLeod? Because when Purdy started throwing, he was throwing to Ray McLeod, and he was looking like a great wide receiver at first. Now they have him just on, what is that, special teams, just catching the ball at the kickoff or punts.
Yeah, Ray's filled in at different times at different spots throughout the season.
But I'd like to believe that, they're going to sweep it because we have a lot of potential with, if I'm just going to assume whether it be Trey or Purdy, those 2 right there are going to be great quarterbacks.
But do you think we're going to go 6-0, or do you think, like 5-1? I mean, like 6-0 since like 97.
I think we can go 6-0. Well, for sure we're sweeping the Rams. There's no doubt about that. For sure we're sweeping the Cardinals because
Kyler Murray can't see over the line.
Yeah, no, Kyler Murray is whatever, and then Hopkins. What's his name? Hopkins.
I think might not even be on the team.
Yeah, so another threat's leaving there. And then my only concern would be the quarterback for the Seahawks, Geno Smith.
I don't think it's our quarterback you need to worry about. I think it's our defense. We're really rebuilding that. And I mean, Gino played great last year. Really did. If he can repeat what he did, he's a solid, serviceable quarterback. But I think we'll split. I think we'll split games with you guys. I really do. I think you'll win one up down there, and then we'll win one up here, and then be really cool to meet again in the playoffs. I really think it would.
Mr. Corey Davis, I'm going to bring in our favorite SF 49er, the Ultimate Report. If you know who I am talking about, I'm going to bring him in if you can do your thing and give him the best. Well, just do your thing, Corey. Bring him in.
Okay. Coming in all the way from Daly City, my man, Jon Jay.
DC in the house. What's up, guys?
Thanks for coming on, Mr. Jon Jay. Corey's giving the intros tonight. Appreciate it, Corey. Thank you. And I'll try to pause and we'll hold people out until we're done talking before we bring people in, so Corey can, give everybody the mad intro like he does. Because I don't know about you guys. Well, I do. I know when Corey gives me the intro, I'm up here, so I imagine you guys are the same.
You know what I find fascinating is that some of the people that are talking about, not talking about trading Lance are now talking about trading Lance. So it's kind of funny when you see people so hearted about, Trey's not going anywhere. And now since that one video came out about him potentially going to the Texans, now all of a sudden the same people that are saying he's not getting traded are, oh, he's getting traded. Like, really? I thought you just said he wasn't getting traded. Now all of a sudden we're talking about he's getting traded. Okay, here we go.
And now the script flips again because Purdy comes out and says that he might not be ready for the season.
Yeah, and he's going to get traded.
Well, he says I might not play the whole season. So now they're saying, do we still trade Trey Lance? Do we draft another quarterback? So two things have happened, guys, and I'm not taking receipts or anything, but you guys know I've said a couple funny things, right? DTR is on the radar, and Trey Lance being traded or not traded, that's not the issue, but DTR being on the radar is one. And Brock Purdy, I've said it. Why are we rushing the guy back? Why don't we sit him? Why don't we let Trey Lance start? Why don't we let Sam Darnold start? Or why are we pushing this guy back out so quick? Oh, because of his surgery. Let's hold off a little bit. So now the guy's come out himself and said, hey, I don't know if I'm going to play. So I think it's very interesting.
And could we all agree that Trey Lance should start? I mean, regardless of if you believe he is the quarterback or not, but for the simple fact that the Niners were so willing to hand him the reins last season and then he had an injury early on in the season, shouldn't he get those reins back so he can kind of squash the fact of if he's going to be capable or not? Because it seems like right now with everybody so like gung-ho with their emotions on Trey's the guy, and not ever having really enough film to see him, he should be, the obvious answer, he's going to have to start, because if the Niners were so sure that he should start last year, you need to throw him back in there this year to kind of squash the simple fact of, is he ready? Is he not? Is he the guy? Is he not? Because if he's going to get traded, he's going to get traded. But you can't say he's going to get traded if you are going to sit back and say that, oh, we haven't seen enough of him playing. Well, then throw the guy back out there if supposedly he is in fact healthy. You already know what Brock Purdy can represent. So, let him heal up, and then God forbid Trey gets hurt. The only reason why we want to see Trey benched is if for the fact that, hey, you suck, get Purdy in.
But he still needs reps. So it's like really hard. It's like we were going all in on him last year, and then he gets hurt. And that's the only thing that derailed us from going that way. So with him coming out this year and him being healthy,
he should be the obvious starter.
He should be the obvious starter unless they don't believe in him. Mr. Corey Davis, I got another guest. His name's Stevo Supremo. If you don't mind bringing him in, I'm going to bring him in if you can do your thing.
Stevo, okay. It's hard to do his name. Stevo Supremo. It's hard to do it.
Three syllables on the end is kind of rough.
I think about dropping the Supremo, actually, but I had to come in for my intro.
Steve-O! It's Steve-O!
Yeah, I like that better.
And this talking about Trey Lance, I don't believe it. Unless John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan comes on the mic and says, we are trading Trey Lance. I'm not going to believe any what other people say because I don't think we'll trade him. We don't. Well, plus, when you got a quarterback that's injured, that's coming back recovery. Now, say that Brock Purdy wasn't injured, then I might say the other way. They might trade Trey Lance. But if you don't know how Trey Lance going to respond, I mean, not Trey Lance, Brock Purdy arm is going to respond and how he's going to be, and you trade Trey Lance, and then also Brock Purdy ain't the same, then we'll be right back where we started. And then I say, without Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, we're not sweeping us Seattle. We're not sweeping our division. So,
yeah, I don't think we want a franchise quarterback because if we pay a guy like $40 million, I mean, we're gonna have to get rid of like 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but by the time, like if Trey Lance ends up being the guy, by the time the contract actually comes up, it's going to be a few years from now. Trent Williams more than likely gone. So there's
But
a
don't
big
you want
chunk
to
of
be
the
able to
money.
pay guys to replace Trent Williams instead of worrying about one quarterback?
Yeah, you definitely would want to keep Trent Williams because, like
Well,
Jed York came out and said, we're going to be dealing with team-friendly contracts. So it doesn't sound like they want to pay too much for a quarterback, even if it comes up to giving them a contract.
Well, think about it. So Trey Lance, after this year, they have to make his 5th-year option choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Trent Williams, he's what, 30? Isn't he 34?
He's old. Yeah.
So, he might play till he's 36, 37. I mean, as you age, it starts wearing on you, the grind.
Mm-hmm.
But if we win the Super Bowl, he might just retire. I mean, none of us know what's going to happen there.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, we do need his replacement, and we'll more than likely draft the guy. Hopefully, the guy is really good at it. But when it comes down to paying Trey Lance, the salary cap will go up, and we will have some salaries off the books. Like I fully expect us to trade Debo next offseason, and a lot of people don't agree with me, but if we're keeping Ayuk, we can't pay 2 receivers top 10 money.
Definitely.
So if we're keeping Ayuk, then Debo's the guy that's going to get traded.
Yeah, and if you have to trade Debo, you want to trade him when he's worth a trade because just as soon as he's injured, then we're stuck with him and still paying him.
That's true. And this year, it's a $28 million cap hit if we trade him. So it's going to wait till next year because it goes down drastically.
Yeah.
And then you got Trent Williams, who was, that story about him eyeing retirement, that was probably just clickbait. I don't think he even was, not yet.
I never heard that.
I mean, did you see that story? It was like Trent Williams is thinking about retirement. I was like, well, they took something he said out of context is what happened. But either way, he wasn't. He wasn't thinking about it, not yet.
Yeah, they probably were talking to him after a loss or something, and he's caught up.
It was after the Philadelphia game.
Yeah, so that's easy to twist somebody. It's like you don't ever want to ask them what they're going to do after that loss because that game was just devastating.
Yeah.
But did you hear, David? That we signed Conley? That means we're going to trade Ayuk?
We signed Conley? We're going to the Super Bowl. No, that guy's a camp body. He's a camp body.
Yeah. I was like, I'm cracking up about that. I'd be like, come on, y'all. We going to trade away a good receiver for receivers. He probably good, but he's not Ayuk.
Well, I'd like to see Ayuk perform, well into his years as a 49er because last year, I believe, was just his best year for the couple of years that he's been with us. And it would be nice to know that he is going to continue with that pattern of achieving, being that great receiver for us because otherwise, we want to see Debo contribute, but I don't know what happened with him. I don't know if he's kind of regressed and I'm not knocking him as a player because he's got skill, but it doesn't seem like he's got the skill that's more notable because he doesn't seem to have been contributing to the team as far as like what he's hyped out to be. And I like Debo. I really think that the things that he does as far as when he makes the plays, he looks great, but I'd like to actually see more. And maybe that's just a fan in me.
I feel very uncomfortable with your camera off because I don't know what Bryant's doing.
Oh, he's
That's been Bryant talking this whole time.
Bryant's taking care of babies. I got to get a break.
Oh, see, Bryant's right there. There he is.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I've been saying for months, I always thought it was Ayuk that was going to be the cap casualty. I don't know. I don't see why both too. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony's back. What's up, Tone?
Because, in a couple of years, we are going to lose Juice and Armstead and Kittle, 3 years max probably on all those guys. So we need to draft well.
Yeah, we definitely.
The way you just described Debo is kind of the way that Seahawks fans feel about DK, right? Because they're so big, they're so physical, and they're so gifted, but yet you don't see as much production on the field as you guys and Ayuk, us as Lockett. So we're kind of in the same situation with Debo and DK, and they're the same age. So
this last season, he was more like a decoy, Debo, and because of what he did the season before.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him hit over 1,000 yards receiving, but he's not necessarily a pure receiver like Ayuk is.
Wait, has he not hit over 1,000 yards receiving?
He had 1,400 yards in 2021.
Yeah, because that was his big year, right? 2 years ago.
Yes,
And
that was his contract year.
His biggest year is not actual wide receiver yards; it's yards after the catch. And it's like, what do you mean? It's not. They're like, well, he catches the ball 5 yards and then he runs 80 yards. You're like, I don't care. The guy's still running 80 yards. Get them down the ball.
That's receiving yards. The quarterback gets his stats padded for that. So
Yep.
That was the year that he was like halfway through the season, he was like first or second in yards, and then they just started, giving him the ball, running the ball. So he would have had it easily.
Well, no, I thought it was awesome what they were doing, giving him the ball, running the ball.
Everybody wanted to get one of those guys, right? Just like they want to get a Purdy now.
Yeah, exactly.
My only concern with Purdy, you see, and I don't want to jinx anything. I don't believe in jinxes, but it's like, remember when we had He Who Now Shall Not Be Named came in, and he looked so great because he started winning the last remaining games of the season, and all of a sudden everybody wanted to be like, yeah, that's our guy, and then they paid him. He got that super fat contract, and then he started like looking like a mediocre. Like, what happened to the quarterback? And I don't want to see that same thing happen with Purdy because I feel that the young man does have talent for the simple fact he's a rookie, and he does have a lot of college play, but I don't want to see another
Kaepernick?
Yeah, no, Garoppolo. No Garoppolo situation. The one thing I could say about Kaepernick is this was back when we went to our first Niner game, and it was the Bengals, I think it was playing. And
2014.
2014, and I think they had Gabbert at the because Kaepernick was hurt at the time, and then they had Gabbert, and Gabbert was playing like shit. And I was yelling in the stands, like, put Kaepernick in. It was terrible either way. You don't have any kind of quarterback choice from there, but it was just like, oh, gosh, desperate times. Throw Kaepernick in. I don't care if you're injured. Make something happen.
Wow, Debo's stats, I'm just looking at them. They're so weird. I don't know. So, yeah,
well, he missed a month last year, so...
I remember that, but how about in 2020? Was he also hurt?
Yeah, he like the whole 49ers team was hurt in 2020.
Yeah, we had $70 million on the IR.
You gotta be
because his yards go from like 800 to 400 to 1400 to 650. That's just rounding.
Yeah, 2020, what was a bad year for everyone.
That's the thing about DK. So DK was 900, 1300, 950, 1050. so it's like pretty consistent. DK hasn't been hurt for us much at all.
It seems like the best year for Debo is in 2021.
It's always good when your receiver is healthy.
So I like Kaepernick, right? Sorry to change the subject real quick, and I just wanted you guys' thoughts. Do I keep this or do I give it for a giveaway?
What is it?
It's a Kaepernick Lego guy.
It's a what?
It's a Kaepernick Lego.
How big is his nose in the Lego?
Oh my god!
For his hair.
Yeah, it's not the right version because he doesn't have the hair.
Oh man,
is the nose accurate?
I would just say you do you, man.
Yeah, I don't want to throw him away. I'm never gonna open it, But I'm like, if somebody's really that big of a fan of Kaepernick and I can give it away, like I almost kind of want to see what it'd be worth on eBay. But then it's like, if I could just do like a random giveaway, I might just give it away.
It's actual Legos?
Yeah, it's a Lego.
Oh, give it to little Spongy. He sounds like he's into that.
Little Sponge, my dude.
Where's Little Sponge? We need him in here so he can make fun of the Niners.
Nathan Z says to give it away.
I might do a giveaway on it.
Yeah, that's what Nathan Z wants.
Or you could just give it to our good friend, our good friend, Joe Stevens.
Hey, that's
he
fine.
loves these Niners.
We'll pick it. We've picked him off enough times that don't bug me at all.
Oh man.
You could replicate it, Steve. If you went, because when I found that Lego kit, they had like, Joe Staley, they had Frank Gore, and I was like, okay, I'll just get Kaepernick right now. I'll come back, right? Well, I didn't think like the next season he's not going to be on the team and all this, but you can actually buy a NFL field, Lego field, and you can set it up, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool. So yeah, if you're interested, maybe I'll send it to you, and you want to make like a epic Kaepernick pick off or something like that with Legos.
Dude, that'd be so badass if they had a Kaepernick Lego, a Crabtree Lego, and a Sherman Lego all in the same one, and I could just put the ball in Sherman's hand, reaching back like this, tipping it up.
Too bad I didn't have any buttons. They say, don't ever try me with no sorry ass receivers.
Yeah, exactly. Don't you ever talk about me.
That was
now,
great.
I can see us trading Ayuk if they sign Hopkins.
Why though? Why do you want
we sign Hopkins? Then I can say, okay, yes, we trading Ayuk.
I'd rather have Ayuk than Hopkins. From an outsider's point of view, I'd much rather have Ayuk than Hopkins.
Yeah,
I think Hopkins is on the decline of his career, and Ayuk is only just getting there.
I know.
I like Ayuk a lot. Like I remember when you guys asked me who are you most afraid of 49ers offensively, I said Ayuk over Debo, over CMC, over Kittle. I feel like Ayuk just kills us every year.
I know because he played for Arizona State, and he had a quarterback that is similar to like either you could say Trey Lance or the UCLA quarterback who was a deep throw. And he would go down the field. That was a specialty. He was a punt returner, kickoff returner. Of course, Cal, Arizona State's always fun to watch. And I was like saying, man, I wish this guy, I don't know, because Pac-12 players are not like considered like the best, like the SEC or the Big Ten, but he had, those skills. And one of the things that Ayuk, since he's been with the Niners, is that like he's had to change the way he plays. Because he's not, and that's why I do think, Trey Lance was drafted because of what Ayuk can do. But overall, we'll see what he does in his fourth season. Like I said, I like Ayuk. I like all our players. As long as you're wearing that jersey, once you're off that team, bye-bye. I don't root for you no more.
So, Jon Jay, I'll tell you what. You mentioned kind of the Pac-12 versus the SEC. I will admit, when I'm looking at offensive and defensive linemen in college, the SEC is what I compare them against. But when I'm watching skill position players, or even inside linebackers, to be fair, it doesn't bug me as much. It's really just the offensive and defensive linemen. I want to see them against the SEC because those are grown men.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right.
I'm most looking forward to when Trey Lance comes in, how he's going to handle CMC, and if he's going to use CMC as the weapon that CMC is, or if he's going to be more trying to throw it deep down the field and trying to hit Ayuk more, or if it's going to be Debo more. I'd like to say Kittle, but it seems like when Kittle's targeted, he's not ever targeted because nobody ever seems to see him. I don't know if it's just because he's so white or what the deal is, but he's always open, it seems, and nobody sees him as far as in the past. But I'd like to see what's going to happen now with the teams that we have on our offense, and if Trey's going to utilize any of these guys the way that their potential lines up with.
Yeah, because it definitely seems like the tight end has been like the security blanket when no one else is open, and it seems like he's always open. So it seems like they don't try to look for the tight end because they believe the tight end is always open. And then you look at CMC and Trey Lance, and I think that's a good point. I think CMC and Trey Lance are going to work really well together. The only knock, and I know people aren't going to like this, they really aren't going to like this. The only knock on Trey Lance is I want to see him be able to throw a 10-yard pass. And you go, what? A 10-yard pass? He can throw it 80 yards or 70 yards. No, but he can't throw short. And he can't throw short and complete it consistently. So once he does that, I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to say anything. I mean, like, for the longest time, I've been a big Trey Lance supporter, and I believe in the guy. I just want to see the best out of the guy or the best on the team. So, if he can't deliver the ball 10 yards, and if you guys haven't seen the play or not, he went to throw it to Juice Check on the outside to the 10-yard, the first down, and he overthrew him. And it's like, I know, blitzes happen and people have to, there's all these intangibles. But if you can't throw 10 yards, but you can throw 80 yards, but you can't throw 10 yards, but you can throw 80 yards. I think
pressure too.
I think there's a problem there.
I think it's the pressure. I think maybe this year he'll handle the pressure differently because maybe that was just kind of like one of those mistakes as far as him handling the pressure and not knowing how to get rid of the ball quicker and make a play as far as in better circumstances.
You brought up Juice Check. That made me automatically think of something. Where the heck is Gavin?
Yeah.
Bryant? I haven't seen him for a while either.
That guy disappeared. I hope he's all right because the last time I spoke to him was on Thanksgiving, and he said that he was moving, got a new job. So I don't know if, and of course he lives in the UK. So
yeah. In Wales.
Yeah.
No. He'll get all mad. It's Wales.
No. Do not make fun of my country. I missed that guy.
I'll message him on Twitter. I got him on Twitter. I'll have to message him.
I feel bad for him. He was wrong with everything. He said Juice was going to be captain. He was supposed to clothesline or slam Roquan. Never happened.
I think a lot of people were trying to push that because there was just a couple of plays, his few plays, and it was all rah, but you have to stay consistent to get the captain.
Mm-hmm.
You guys see the Steelers trade for Allen Robinson?
What?
Yeah, I saw that. The Rams are imploding. They just lost another player.
Well, what'd they give up? A 7th rounder?
No, so basically, this is the compensation. They gave the Steelers an additional 7th round pick and Allen Robinson, and they got a 7th round pick back. So technically, they did like the Matthew Stafford. We're just giving them away. We don't want them.
Well, they just didn't want his contract, right?
So sad. That's the same thing how they did with Jared Goff. Yeah, they had to give the Lions also draft picks. They were just trying to get that contract off the books. So.
Wow.
And the Rams,
Rams
they went in the division.
Left. They cut Wagner, and now they traded their wide receiver. So who do they have left?
Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and Al My Elbow Stafford.
Okay.
What up, Tony?
Coming
you running the show tonight?
Oh yeah.
Coming in.
Coming
in. My man. No Border Sports.
Thank you. You're kind. I was already in though before you did that. You were late. It's okay. I won't dock you too many
what
points.
Happened was,
well, that's what we do.
Wasn't up there to say, Korey, no more sports coming in. Everybody pause. He was there to do it. And all of a sudden I looked up, he was there.
Tony, I don't know if you've ever met No Crypto Ryan, but he's like the only one of us that actually tells it how it is.
Yeah, he's the toenail guy.
And when it comes to the funny, I carry it.
Yeah, he's the only funny guy. Yeah.
And looks, I'm not talking about looks.
No.
Talking about humor, comedy.
Oh shit, I was.
Comedy without the toenails, right?
Hey, put it on Nathan Z's comment so Ryan can see it.
I don't have any toenails.
You sold them the Corona or what?
Exactly. Side hustling.
Well, thanks for the pop in here and show it.
I'm still wondering why would you keep your toenails? Never mind.
For a collage. Figure that one out.
Brian had to text me afterwards. He's like, hey, look, watch it again. She's making a collage.
That's not any better. That doesn't make it better at all.
No, it doesn't. But,
that makes it worse.
There's a reason.
Are you adding scabs too? What's the deal?
Oh gosh.
Tune in next week for the hair clippings episode.
Tune in next week to see a guy's frozen pea and his toenails. It's kind of like
I can't believe he said that on the stream.
I like David Corona. He's a good dude. But
that dude does
it's
not
like,
care. He does not care. He will say whatever he wants.
Yeah, yesterday he was bugging me. Yesterday he was trying to get on like 3 streams. Hey, let me on.
Yeah.
What up, Bryant?
Steve-O was in my channel, and I think David Corona was at the same time. And
hey, it's a dog.
Yeah, he was trying to get on the NWO podcast yesterday.
Yeah. He was like,
I had to explain to him, and no.
Me and Levi were doing our normal, just like Monday, we talk about shit around the NFL, right? And David Corona was like, hey, drop that link. And I was like, no, not today. I was like, maybe later.
Dude, put us you guys said that like last weekend or something like that, last Monday. Like, oh, Bryant, we'll drop it. And I'm like, I love your guys' show. I don't want to, intrude, like if I'm a guest or something, I'm a guest, but I don't want, you guys are doing your thing. I'm listening because I want to hear what you guys have to say. It's not.
Stop being so humble, Brian.
No, but I mean, like, that's the whole thing is like, right now we're having a show, kind of having a hangout show, but I've invited everyone on. It's not been like, it's not like you can't have an intruder or somebody, like coming over, but it's like, we're all here because, we've been invited and this is our family.
I kind of had to beg for the link.
That's not true. Get out of here.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I just got over 30,000 views.
No shit.
On what?
Nice.
I hit a milestone.
On that one video?
No, on YouTube or on my whole channel.
Accumulate.
Oh, I was gonna say, was it the freezer?
No, well, probably about 18,000 of them for my Trey Lance highlight video.
Nice. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one kind of did a little something.
Mm-hmm.
That one blew up.
Hey, do you mind if my buddy Kyle calls in on Friday? Or is it kind of?
Is he a Seahawks fan?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Does he have urine in his freezer?
No, that's the thing is he doesn't really have anything cool to offer like that. He's just my ginger friend Kyle. That's his name.
Oh, he's a ginger?
Hard.
Yeah.
Okay. We can have soulless jokes all day with that then. That's no problem.
Well, I don't know. Let's confirm with
how is he a good is he good with all that type of is he good with joshing and kidding around and all that?
Oh yeah, dude. He's basically like me. Okay. He's like, when we watch it, he's the one who I take to most of the Seahawks games and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, tell him pull up.
Well, I mean, you want to check with Chardall first, or?
No, he might ask you if you like his picture.
Okay, hey, so everybody listen, and I got a joke, right? All right, so obviously I'm wearing orange right now, but I'm walking up through my property, and this guy comes up, one of the tenants, and he's like, "Hey, what rhymes with orange?"
Door hinge.
I said, "No, it doesn't."
Yeah, there you go. It does.
Oh man.
What rhymes with orange? No.
No, it really doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got home today because I work right next to this school. So I come home and I tell Tony, I'm like, "Hey, did you hear about the kidnapping at the school?"
Got me good. I was like, "What kidnapping? That's not right. Leave the kids alone."
Yeah, no, he fell asleep for like 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, he woke up. He woke up. So he's good.
Do you think they sterilize lethal injection needles?
Oh gosh.
No, why would they?
Yeah.
They do.
They try to cut costs. That didn't matter anymore.
Hey, that's interesting, Ryan. That's hella interesting. Why would they do it? Why would they waste the alcohol swab?
I don't know.
Oh boy.
If you're going, once the needle's in you, what, you're going to get a reprieve like a half a second after they got that thing in there? Nah, bro.
Sayonara.
Hey, do you guys ever remember, what is it? Videos of Death? No, it's
Faces of Death.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. My dad's going to clown me so hard.
We used to watch that and eat spaghetti on my football spaghetti feeds.
Oh my gosh, my dad, he's seen one video and this dude got electrocuted, and I guess his eyeball, Dr. Scuval, I can't even think of his name now. But you guys ever get a chance to watch those? Those are some scary videos. True stories.
I remember one, I got really, a lady was walking down the street and some bricks fell off the top of the roof. And that one got to me. Because I was just like, she was just minding her own business and never came back from that.
Yeah. My dad, he was watching one, and I guess he got really, really excited. Dude's eyeballs popped out, and my mom was like, no more. So my dad's not allowed to watch that no more. So.
Oh, good. Your dad gets excited at those things, huh?
Yeah. He gets excited about some weird stuff sometimes, but, you can ask my dad some questions, and he's got some answers for it too. So that's the great thing about my dad.
Well, I could tell you how to get rid of a problem, but I'm not going to do it live on the air. Especially here in Washington.
Yeah.
So there's this joke in California, right? If you have a problem, you put them in Sycamore Valley.
Sycamore Valley?
What's that?
You stick them more.
Oh, geez.
And you put them in the valley.
Yeah, we live in a rainforest. We can basically just put them wherever.
That's facts.
All you need is a blown down tree and a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Make a cut so deep the dogs can't smell.
I'm going to go ahead and answer this question for you, Ryan, if you don't mind. Nathan, you are always welcome.
No, not okay. Nathan Z.
No,
I'm sorry. I'll DM you the link.
I will not be on the same streams as Nathan Z anymore.
He was making fun of me earlier.
We might have to vote. We'll do like a vote behind the stream. Nathan will be back here.
Nathan Z is so chill.
It's physically impossible for a whale to
swim.
Yeah,
TV going.
Really fun.
Because
whose TV is going?
Korey.
Its throat is very small.
What you watching, Korey?
Jon Jay.
Korey, you should mute yourself.
I thought I was muted. I hit the mute button.
I thought Beto was in the chat or something for a minute.
So did I.
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, shout out Beto. Okay, and if you guys haven't seen it or you don't know the face, this is the champ right right here.
Oh,
All right. When
Gosh.
Beto has a race, oh my gosh. You want to put some money down? This is the one who's winning right here.
Man, that guy's like a few months behind, or what?
Oh man, those deck races or something else.
Yeah, he's been having a lot of fun with the duck races. There's been a lot of fun. All right, so what kind of 49er news do we have to talk about today? Because I'm super excited. I kind of talked about this a little bit before you got here, Ryan. DTR, man, they keep talking about him, and I'm all excited because he's the guy with 2 last names. He could be the one.
I don't think we're getting him.
No, I don't either.
Bryant.
I think everybody wants him.
Now they do, huh?
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Isn't he a third rounder?
No, I think
No.
he's a 6th round pick.
Yeah, he's a projected late 5th, between late 5th and 7th round.
I think Bryant. I think you guys still got him. If you're willing to spend a 6th round pick on him, I really think he'll be available.
I take him, but I'm not the GM. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of people are glad I'm not the GM.
Just work on TV for a little bit. You can become the GM. That's what John Lynch did.
What I see is teams are going out, they're picking up quarterbacks, right? They're this and that. In a draft like this, I wouldn't mind picking up, let's say, I'm drafting Bryce Young, right? Why not pick up a DTR?
Well, look at the Redskins with Cousins and Griffin 10 years ago.
Yeah. Why not double dip? One you spend the wad on, the other one you think about, and you see what the boxes are checked, and you get him later on. And then no matter what, you probably got somebody who can play next year, and all else fails, you can move off of him and trade him to somebody else who's needy of a quarterback later for capital.
Yep.
Well, we have an honorable mention. I know he wasn't necessarily a 49er player. It looks like he was a Browns player and a Raider player. Have you guys read the news today? Chris Smith, defensive end, rest in peace. He died at age 31.
Damn.
They just released that today.
I
don't
never
know.
heard of him.
I didn't read the why he died, but that's what it says today for the news.
Man, that's not fun when you hear that.
Any of you ever heard of him?
1 week after playing an XFL game.
Oh, I guess he went to the XFL.
Cause of death unknown.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be that young dying, and him just playing in a football game, you know what I mean, is a little sketchy. We saw Mr. Hamlin die on the field.
And he was cleared to come back to play now.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know this is kind of dark, what I'm saying. A lot of people deal with depression and stuff. Maybe that could be an issue, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate anything. That's my bad.
I know.
Well, who knows? There could also be drugs involved, and it might be accidental. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Yeah, too.
He might have been trying something else and got some of that fentanyl in there. Like, oh God, do you know how fucking scared I am for my kid? You know what I mean? They got this stuff all in there, and in a moment, like, oh my God. Like, when I was a kid, like, I knew crack was bad. I knew all this stuff was bad. I never tried heroin because I knew you would get sucked down a hole like that. I never smoked crack because I knew you get sucked down a hole like that. But I've messed with other drugs. And, like, ecstasy shouldn't be having no fentanyl in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like
somebody snoring.
That's what I hear too.
Whoa, what did I miss?
Jon Jay, are you asleep?
Nah, I'm good. I'm here. Just listen to everybody.
David McNiner, you sleep?
I hope not.
He was muted.
David McNiner.
I'm just I'm muted because I was coughing. I want to cough in your ear.
What is that noise?
No, Ryan, you make a good point, dude. Like there's certain things that no one should say, go and do this or that. I don't want to say go drink a beer, but there's worse things you can do than smoke a joint. But shooting up with heroin, I'm not going to tell anybody to do that. I'm not going to tell anybody to go drink a beer either. You know, that's your choice.
You suck.
Everybody,
Wow.
Sorry, boss.
everybody, you know, they
Sorry.
need to experience their own life, you know, and make their own decisions, right? Look at Joe over there. I'm gonna go get a beer now. But no, I mean, like that's the same thing though. It's like, you know, like my dad, he told me, he said, Bryant, I don't want you going out and drinking at parties and getting all messed up. But if you do, you better call me. You know, I don't want you driving home with somebody messed up. I want you to be honest with me and say, Dad, I need you, you know. And, you know, I never had to call my dad and say, I need you to come pick me up, because I just never got that plastered or anything like that where I even needed to do anything like that. I never had to go.
I always got
that.
drunk down the road so I could walk home.
My dad said, hey, Bryant, if you want to drink a beer, you know, there's a beer here. I don't want you going out and doing anything stupid, you know? So I was like, hey, that's, you know, so, you know, I'm not one of those people that have to go to a bar, you know what I mean? It's fun, but you can also have friends come over and, you know, be safe, you know? So I don't know. That's my thoughts. But if you're going to do something, you know, you do it because you choose to do it. Don't let somebody peer pressure you into doing something, because, at the end of the day, you have to choose to live your life.
Yep. That's
Hey,
one
Bryant.
thing.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Joe, I hear you over there.
So my dad told me a couple things like growing up, you know, me and my dad rarely outside of sports and cars, we never really had any like serious conversations, you know. And two of the things he told me was, if you drive this fucking Jeep and get fucked up and drink and drive, I'm gonna be pissed. And he also told me put on a rubber, and that was the only serious conversations we've ever had in my life.
I agree with the second.
Sex is like Chinese food. It ain't over till you both get your cookie.
That's what he goes. So I've never talked. I was always super uncomfortable with my dad talking about that stuff, right? Like always, just like we never talked about. Like we'd be like, "Hey, that chick's hot," whatever, stuff like that, you know. Never got into detail. He goes, "If you're not wearing a rubber, you're a fucking idiot." I go, "All right, thanks, Dad."
Words of wisdom.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's ways to get the information across without it being totally awkward. Like, look at how I said it. You know what I mean? It was funny. You got the point across. We don't have to go into it anymore. Life lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've known Tony since she was what?
9
years old, right? I was at her
like 30.
I was like what, 12?
Sorry.
12 maybe?
Oh wow.
12?
He was the babysitter.
Yeah, I'm like a couple years older, right? So I met Tony, and I didn't start like letting her know anything about me liking her or anything, because there was too close to the family and everything. I was like, hey, one day I'll make my move, right? Well, I got close to it. Well, before that happened, you know, like I knew somebody, and my dad looked at me and said, hey, if you get somebody pregnant, you're getting kicked out of the house.
Wow.
Well, you know what? That was a big defer for me to be like risky or anything like that before I had a job or was out of the house, because, you know, I don't know where I'm going to be living when I'm like 16 years old or anything like that. So, shout out to dads. Dads have a lot of good advice. They really do.
And they really get straight to the point too.
Oh,
yeah.
My conversation was like, in high school we had sex ed, and I had to get my parents' signature to, you know, take it. And I was like, yeah, let me forge this. I'm not having this conversation.
That's legit. Yeah. I feel
remember,
the same exact way.
I remember in 5th grade, I had sex ed in California, and like I knew about the foam. Like there was a certain foam you could inject inside the area, and that was a spermicide. There was the little like pieces of film that you could put in there for spermicide. There's all certain type of things that you put the condom down your roll the condom down your finger. They had the IUD thing, that little copper wire that they were showing, you know, and all that type of stuff. You got to, and you know, check it out and actually know what was going on. When I got to Washington, my health teacher was like, if any of you students have a condom you could bring in to show the rest of the class. And I was like, wait, what? I was like,
show and tell.
No, I'm like in 5th grade, like that was all like I could run this class right now. You mean to tell me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew about contraceptives. I knew why, you know, certain things happen like in 5th grade. And it's like, now we're sitting here and we can't I'm in high school at this point, and I'm thinking like
ninth grade health class in Washington.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's going to try and get their thing wet here pretty soon. Why aren't people knowing about condoms? Because, this is also, AIDS. I had grown up kind of where AIDS was a big thing. So even though it started to taper off, like by the time I'm in school and this and that, it's been ingrained in me since I was a kid. AIDS is out there, bro. So you gotta chill out when AIDS is around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I'm thinking like, why aren't you getting these guys prepared for this? This is stupid.
Facts. Yeah, see, I went to a Catholic school. That's all that you have to know. And I went to college.
Lots of dudes, huh? Lots of dudes, Jon.
Yeah, how was because this is the other thing, like, how do they talk about contraceptives? Because I believe in like the Catholic Church, like it's a sin to leave it's better to leave the seed in a whore than to leave it on the ground or something like that. I think.
So basically, my community is Filipino people, and they're not afraid to tell the truth. And even
shout out to
the religious people, they'll tell you. They say, "Oh, hey, I'm a priest, but I still know the mechanics." And we're like, "Hey, this guy's a priest," and so that's how Filipino people are. They're very honest. They love and then don't make me give me what with the nuns, whatever. They were the same way.
A baby sitting in the seat.
So.
We got little kids in the seat.
Sorry to hear that, Nathan.
Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up.
Sometimes it's a blessing when they're not around, depending on the personality.
Nathan Z said it best. He said, "You know what? That guy and Crypto Ryan, they aren't afraid to tell the truth.
Like
they're the only two people. Probably Crypto Ryan.
There was this kid. He was a friend of mine. He just passed away at 30 years old. And when he was born, his parents just left him. Luckily, the grandmother, had the stones, and she took the boy in. And he always ran around with the wrong crowd.
The stones, like the balls?
Yeah, that's what.
No, like basically, she basically took responsibility because nobody wanted the kid.
She had a good head on her shoulder.
She was like, she's like, come on, So they just left her with her, and of course, we found out later that his parents were, just hated that kid. So, and he grew up tough, and luckily, my grandfather always took in the kids who, so I remember a story where my grandfather, like the cops were looking for some kids, and that they ran to my house, and they knocked on, and my grandfather was like, get off my property. You guys have no warrant. You guys are looking for some kids. So that's how he, cared about the neighborhood. So the kids would always be in my house, and they got themselves out of trouble. But unfortunately, he just like when he got 16, he just ran with the wrong crew, and then I lost him September. So he just had a tough life, and I'm just glad that I was part of that for 25 years. Yeah, not every kid gets that perfect life. Both parents, not everyone.
I had it. I'm not gonna lie, I had a great life. So. Hey, Steve-O, is that talking bass behind you or no?
No, that's a dead one now.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a 23-inch Mac now. I caught at Red Lakes. I kind of got lucky and I caught it through the gill. It was It was a 94, and so I used to do a lot big time fishing. So it's real. It's mounted.
I thought it would have been the one that you press the button,
No, so that's what we did growing up as a kid. We went fishing everywhere and collected lures when we were walking around and the water was down. We just collect lures. We go to pawn shops on the weekend, collect lures. Like you'd buy one for $1 and it'd be worth $40 because from the 60s and nobody knew that. And they made it a business like off of eBay and everything. And I don't want to do that. So like my whole bedroom growing up when I was a kid, it's like all fishing stuff.
Do you ever come up here and fish?
I've only fished here in California.
Oh my God.
My grandpa caught my great grandfather caught. So there's a place called Westport right off the water. That's kind of where all the charter boats and everything are up here. And my great grandpa, he's the one that caught the marlin out of Westport. It's in the museum and everything. I suck at fishing. I'm not gonna lie. I suck at it, but yeah.
My first time out fishing, we caught a 38-pound king salmon out in the Seattle, the Puget Sound.
That's badass.
Yeah, I know this girl that goes like every year. She goes on, I think it's to Seattle. She goes on a charter. She brings back like hundreds of pounds of fish.
Bro.
I'm not sure what that's about, but
it's probably Westport.
Yeah.
You know how amazing it is just to go out, catch yourself a couple big ass salmons, and then go back with like 8 crab per person, and just fucking have a great barbecue with just nothing but like good like. Salmon shouldn't be sold anywhere else in the world except for really like Washington and Alaska. Well, let's just say in the United States, like Atlantic salmon is crap.
I've never had it.
It's crap.
I've never ate fish, period.
What?
I've never. I was the guy like when I grabbed the fish, I'd wear a little fucking glove so I didn't have to touch it. Well, because when I grew up, my parents would always pan fry it and it made the whole house stink. So I've never had fish.
My uncle used to barbecue the salmon. Like he would get 2 grates and he would like put garlic slices into it, and then he would like put another grate on top of it. No, he'd put a grate on the bottom, grate on the top, and then you would just hit there's like a brown sugar, butter, garlic, dill, liquid smoke, and you essentially just slather that in there, and you just keep flipping it until it's done, and it's just so fucking amazing. Like the rule was Ryan can only have thirds until other people have at least had seconds and said they're done, because then I can't go back, because I would just inhale that shit. Because you're talking about, we're getting there like 30, 40 pound salmons, and you're just, you just throw a side on there, and like you're talking about 20 pounds of salmon, and it goes quick. It goes quick, bro, because it's like candy almost. It's just, and like family, you know we're no, you probably don't, on the way to on Deception Pass they got up here.
Deception Pass.
Okay, so you know Stromps? I think it's Stromps. It's the place where you can get the shrimp. It's like a shrimp sack. So all my family get-togethers up here. Like it always started out with somebody coming with bags of shrimp, and it would be like a big bag of shrimp for the adult table and a big bag of shrimp for the kid table. And it's shrimp boiled in seafood. It's still got the head on it. Like I'm 8 years old, sticking my finger with the shrimps and all that. But this is how you do. You just sit there and eat shrimp, and that's how you start the family get-togethers. Everybody just inhales shrimp, and then you go, "Oh, hey, how's your life going? Hey, how's it going?" Oh, the kids start running around. No. Once the shrimp's there, like it's all shrimp. And
bro, if you guys ever go to Seattle, go that fucking crab pot. Sorry for my language, Tony and Bryant. But
yes,
boy, if you guys ever go there, they just freaking lay it out on the table right in front of you, and it was all freshly caught from the Puget Sound like the day before.
I know people who go and fish for gooey duck and then sell them to the Japanese. Ship them over to Japan and sell it to the Japanese.
I don't like gooey duck.
Like I got native homies that can fish year round no matter what's going on, and so like I always got hooks on fish. You know what I'm saying? Crab, all that stuff. Shout out to Rudy. Used to get my weed from him.
But Jim Everett, the Great?
No. Rudy.
I know, I'm kidding.
That guy's starting to annoy even me.
Rudy used to slang weed, and then like he got older. They get checks because the Tulalip Reservation does really well. So they get checks, and he just took his dope money, he took his weed money, and he took his res checks, bought himself a fishing boat. He realized, hey, we have rights to fish year round. You know what I mean? That's something that other people can't. So he invested in it.
Them.
Yeah, and he invested in it. There you go.
And they can net fish too. They're the only people that are allowed to net fish in Washington State.
I think like when you're younger and stuff like that, you grow up and you're like, oh man, I'm young and stuff like that. For me, I didn't want to like move away from my family. It wasn't I want to live under my family's roof, but I like being in the same town or being, so many minutes away from my family. I like having
Me too.
barbecues with my family.
Mhm.
Tony's cousins are some of my best friends.
That's
And
awesome.
she'll tell you, when I get around them, there's a lot of boobs squeezed, there's a lot of giggling, and she's like, Bryant, are you straight? And I'm just giggling the whole time, right? Well, yes, I'm straight. I'm very straight, but just sometimes when you get around certain kinds of guys,
I caught you last Thursday taking the D. What are you talking about?
Every Thursday, Ryan takes a D.
That's all trivia.
Damn.
But sometimes when you're around certain type of people, you just giggle more, or you just have a good, chemistry, And her cousins, man, I don't know. I can say left and right jokes to them, and they're just laughing. And they say stuff back to me, and it's one of those things. And I'm like, oh my god, like they get me. So, yeah, I mean, like when you're saying stuff, it is important to be around family. But what I'm getting at is just like as I'm getting older and stuff, there's things that I'm starting to think about, like, hey, what do I want to live around? Where do I want to live around? Well, I want to live close enough to my kids, and hopefully my kids want to live close to me, when I get older too. But I want to live comfortably, So like right now, I'm looking at the size of the house I have. I'm looking at like, a lot of little things like that. And when I get older, it's like the options are endless, but like I wouldn't mind, and Tony knows this too. I wouldn't mind traveling, the United States with her, in like an RV or something, and going different states to states and having fun. But is that like an overall end all like retirement? No, that's just something maybe to do for a couple years, and then hopefully be able to buy a house or go back in living in a house and stuff, and finish out our days that way. But there's some dreams. And if you got someone nice next to you, or you got your own dreams, that I was talking about that today with a plumber, and I said, if you have all the money in the world, and this is for everybody out there, if you have all the money in the world, do you still dream?
I buy the Seahawks.
Well, okay, but at that point, though, right? At that point, once you bought the Seahawks, right? Yeah, you're gonna dream about winning the Super Bowl, and you'll dream about certain things like that. But you have all the money in the world. I love it, Ryan. But you don't necessarily. You know what I mean? Like
abstract.
You got everything you want in the world, so you don't necessarily have expectations or dreams, or I mean, everything is easy to you at that point. So it's not like I'm not saying rich people don't have dreams or anything like that. I'm saying it's like when you can wake up every day and say, hey, I'm going to save for this, or hey, I'm waiting for this event to happen, or I mean, so that's I don't know if you guys understand that, but I that's what I'm trying to say. It's good to be able to have dreams every day.
So I understand why the plumber left so fast and didn't fix it properly now.
So Steve-O's a dick, by the way.
I am not. But hey, Tony, who's your favorite football player?
Currently or past?
Who's her top 4? Let's hear her Rushmore.
My Rushmore. Okay, so it can be like current and past, right? Or
right, all time, all 4.
Okay, so Frank Gore is number 1. Frank Gore is number 1 for me. And then I would say Kittle. And oh dang, now I gotta think.
Yeah, now you gotta think because you're limiting yourself. Is Jimmy going on? Is Joe going on? Is Steve going on?
I like Steve Young. Okay, so I'll put him up there. Steve Young and then Dwight Clark. Those would be like my number 4 for sure.
Yeah.
Honorable
mentions would be
Joe Montana.
Well, Joe Montana
Ronnie
for sure,
Ross,
and then Jerry
like
Rice. But I wasn't really old enough to necessarily watch them, so I can't say like other than going back in the reel to.
And I think that's a good point because it's like you got to have like your favorites of the time that you've been watching the 49ers. Sure, you have greats, like we all know Joe Montana, Steve Young.
Your favorites are your favorite.
Yeah, watch them. Like so. Like when I first started dating Tony, she showed me her iPod. And one of the first things I seen on her
iPod, that wasn't the only thing she showed you. Oh,
wow. Hey, the first thing though she showed me was a picture of her iPod, and it had Alex Smith on it. And I'm like, you're a Niner fan. Yeah, I already knew she was a Niner fan, but that I was like, whoa, nobody put this on you put this on yourself, huh? So
He
yeah,
had a
she
little
was
twinkle in his hips when he heard that. When
He
he
was
seen
right.
that.
I was like,
He was
hey,
just
I
like,
like Alex Smith, you know, because I've never been like against Alex Smith. I just wanted the guy to like succeed, and he never had like the same playbook year to year, and you know, it took till Harbaugh come in before the guy actually shined.
And then he
So
got hurt.
yeah, and then he got hurt and never got his job back. So
Yep.
Got the real Niner sickness in the shot.
Yep. He said,
I don't
"What's
know
up?"
who would impersonate him.
Steve-O.
Like
Damn.
2 months behind. I did Aaron, and then I did Ryan when I knew he was on a stream, and right in front of him. And I haven't done that was like months ago. He's like 2 months behind, so we know. Yes, you are right, Joe. I am a dick.
Hey,
And
Beto.
then, we were on. Me and
Hey,
Steve-O
Beto,
were
if
both
that's
on
you,
Ted.
text me.
Oh. Me and
I'm
Steve
asking
were
Beto
both on
about-
Ted's stream at the same time,
Oh.
and I was like, Ted's like, yeah, Steve-O's kind of like a troll, and he has like a bunch of fake accounts, and I responded with, I have 42 subscribers, and 40 of them are Steve-O.
Hey, the other one is me. Ed Tony started 39 subscribers.
I thought you were gonna tell me I spelled your name wrong because I can't. I'm blind. I can't see the screen, and I always thought your name was spelled with a PH.
No, I'm the Culp fan tonight.
Okay, I gotta.
Go
Hey,
ahead, Corey.
yeah, go ahead, Corey.
Well, it's not football, but it's something. It's funny to me. Let's see if it's funny to y'all. I sent this video to Jon Jay.
Right
Okay,
now?
no, it was like a week ago.
Oh,
I
remember.
It was his mama and her daughter, her child, I'm say. So I don't know if it's a girl or boy. He asked Mama, "Is it possible for a whale to swallow a human?" And the mom says, "It is not impossible for a whale to swallow a human." Why, Mommy? Because even though the whale's a large mammal, its throat is small. But Jonah got swallowed by a whale, and Mommy said, "A whale cannot swallow a human, sweetie." Child said, "When I get to heaven, I ask Jonah. Then Mom says, "What if Jonah went to hell?" Then you ask him. It's not funny. It's me.
But what Bryant was saying, he wanted to feel close to family, and I was thinking, man, if I felt that way, I'd be underground. So that's why I didn't laugh.
Underground. Wow.
Man, I live 12 minutes away from my parents, and we live 7 minutes away from my wife's parents, so we stay pretty close. I got a joke, Corey. Back at you. Is that fine?
Okay.
I sent Ryan this meme. Somebody said a humpback whale was found dead in the Amazon rainforest. And some lady commented, "That doesn't surprise me. The Amazon rainforest is no place for a whale to survive."
Right.
Facts.
Wow.
It's just this picture of this giant ass whale in the middle of the rainforest that somebody poached. And some lady, oh yeah, that don't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody here been to a Niner candlestick game?
Yep.
Yeah. I have.
I've been to
I went with my aunt and my cousins several years back, and we went to a couple preseason games. And I think the first one was a Raider game. The second one was a Seahawk game. And that was a really fun experience. That is definitely, I remember we were tailgating in the parking lot, and then first pull in at a Raider game and you're at Candlestick Park, you have literally the Raider fans that are trying to take over certain portions of the parking lot.
Mhm.
And you have some people that are kind of like those guys that are in their truck making sure that if you're a Niner fan, you're not driving the rest of the way through. It was actually kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the tailgates. Oh man, were
It's
so
Beto.
so fun.
Yeah, I've only been to a Candlestick for a concert, and then I had garlic fries and threw up.
Oh no!
What concert?
Huh?
That's not something you want to be throwing up. You know what I'm saying?
It was Metallica, Kid Rock, Korn, Power Man 5000, and System of the Down.
Oh, I love corn.
But I got
I love corn too, and carrots and green beans.
He likes corn and carrots.
Power Man 5000 is actually coming here, Washington, with his brother because his brother's Rob Zombie.
No, his uncle.
No, his brother.
I'm pretty sure the guy in Power Man 5000 is Rob Zombie's nephew.
All right, in the left corner we have. Oh.
No, I swear to God, it's his little brother. It's
Okay.
Rob Zombie's little brother. Sorry.
No, you're good.
But if you're wrong, you swear to God. So.
What's up?
If I'm wrong, yes, strike me down, please.
Oh dang.
Okay, we gotta figure out where this snoring stuff is coming from. Everybody's got to mute one at a time.
I heard it's not. I swear it's not me. Every time I have to cough or something, I mute myself.
I heard a vibrating
Bryant,
robot.
are you muted? I don't hear it. I think it's you. Somehow the snoring is coming from you.
Our bulldog is sleeping on the floor right now, snoring.
Oh, it's my bulldog. I'm sorry.
Oh, that kind of made a little bit
He's
sense.
sleeping. I'm sorry. I'll take a picture of him, send him to you, Ryan. He's actually laying right here.
That dog, he snores so loud, and I swear there's nights where you hear both Bryant and the dog in sync. You almost have to leave the room to go get some sleep.
And me. Okay.
Hey, you know, I used to have a homeboy who used to snore really bad during the night. And when I needed to, when I needed them to stop when I needed him to stop so he could go to sleep, I just make a loud sound real quick, one loud sound, and they go, and then they go back to quiet, and then they're not in that REM anymore. You know what I'm saying? So you got 10, 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying, before it starts coming out normally. Just letting you know.
See, I had sleep apnea, and when I snore, and then I stop snoring like I'm not breathing, my family used to come up and hit me. Bam! I was like, "Why you hit me?"
Yep.
So you stop breathing.
Yeah, that's what happens.
If I sleep anywhere close to my back, I'm snoring.
So Tony, what you should do?
I always sleep on my side.
What do I
So
do?
Tony, next time just stand on the bed and then just step on his chest like Draymond Green style. I don't know if you watch basketball, but
why you brought that up?
Too soon?
I try to be nice. I try to like nudge him,
Where's
pretend
your
like I'm
ass?
like moving in bed, and just kind of like, oh, I was just moving. I'm sorry, I disturbed you. But definitely the trick is nudge him. Maybe he'll stop at least for a couple minutes, so I can fall back to sleep.
Yep.
All right, so let's do round robin. Round robin.
All right, where's she at?
What if I want Square Blue Jay?
All
You
I
ever
have,
think about
all I
that?
have is Applejack.
You ever think about that?
You guys been to Waffle House?
Waffle House.
I've never seen one before in my life.
We were in Kentucky. They had Waffle Houses. Really, really fun. They're kind of like a Denny's, kind of like an IHOP. Yeah, IHOP.
They
I like
usually have
IHOP.
better food than a Denny's, I would say.
How about IHOP and Cherries, though? Where would you rank?
I haven't been to Sherry's yet, so I have to take IHOP.
I'd rather have a Sherry's.
Sherry's and Waffle House?
Ooh,
Waffle
that
House,
would be the competition. What?
Waffle
Tony,
House-
tomorrow you're full.
Waffle House isn't really like a chain.
It's not? I heard they're like a big chain in the South, I thought.
I
In
don't
the
know.
right corner.
I don't know if they're all of the same franchise. You know what I mean? Because I think,
This is why Nathan's cool. He knows about Waffle House.
yeah.
Have you been to one, Ryan?
To a Waffle House?
No, I'm asking. That's why I'm like, I
I've been
just
to a
heard that like
I've been to a Waffle House. I haven't been to a Sherry's or a Cherry's.
like I didn't
I
know
love
if it was
Sherry's, dude.
Oh, Sherry's is better than IHOP and Denny's all day long.
Oh, and they have beer.
Yeah, there's one.
And I went. There was a big closed down. It was a place called Chicken and Waffles.
Chicken and Waffles
in Oakland. It was real good, but they closed down now.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's delicious.
I don't know if every Waffle House is actually like a franchisee of like Waffle House. You know what I mean? Like it's like it could be a blanket term for a place that serves waffles. You know what I mean? Like he was talking about waffles and chickens. You know what I mean? Like they got a waffle and chicken place that could be considered a Waffle House because they sell in the waffles and all that stuff that goes along with it. You know what I mean? Like the breakfast, that might be considered that, like something that wasn't like a name brand Denny's would probably be called like a Waffle House. You know what I mean? Because you go there to get waffles. That's what I knew.
There's one like a 5-minute drive from my house.
So I've been to one in Colorado, but where I live, there isn't one. But we did have an IHOP, but they shut down. Shooting with a bunch of military people that were off duty, so obviously they didn't have their weapons. And I think like 5 people died. And that was crazy. It's kind of like, that's why I try and be funny all the time, because like maybe the guy, I don't know, he was outside, and like it's literally like 2-minute walk from my house, and like we don't get that stuff around here. It's like the guy maybe didn't get his last check, his boss held it from him, and who knows what that dude was going, dealing with. So that's why I was like, you never know what people are dealing with, so I always try and crack jokes.
Okay,
you know what Denny's got in trouble for?
Who?
Denny's.
Denny's?
Yeah, do y'all hear what Denny's got in trouble for?
No.
They got sued, got trouble for. They were only making black people pay first.
Oh, I did hear about that. I did hear about that.
What? What were they
Black
doing?
people had to pay for their food first before they could get their food.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
No way, you're lying.
No, I'm not.
It wasn't. I don't think it was every Denny's.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was certain Denny's that were doing this. It was probably, some kind of manager or somebody was like, "That's what I do. This is what I stopped." You know what I mean?
This is what I started. What a jackass! Dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, yeah. There's some fast food places that are a little bit like, I don't know why they do what they do, but I'm not surprised of a story like that.
So since me and Ryan are the only ones that know of Sherry's, is Sherry's only a Washington thing?
It's gotta be, man.
No, like I live in Daly City. There's one in San Bruno, which is like a 5-minute car ride from my house.
How about
I don't know. I don't know if it's new, but yeah.
Ryan will know this. I don't know if the rest of y'all know this. Do you guys have taco times down there?
No. It kind of goes into Oregon and then stops, as far as I know.
Taco time it's not like a taco truck. It's like Taco Bell, but like everything's fresh and like really well. I don't know. It's still fast food, but it's 10 steps above a Taco Bell at least.
The crispy beef burritos. Crispy beef burritos.
That's what I get too.
Oh my! I get 2 of those, and I got the system down and everything. Okay, this thing is just like a beef taquito that's probably about this thick around. Like it's a manly.
It's all about the girth.
And it's
it's just beef though. Nothing else.
It's just beef, and so like it's really hot because they drop the beef with like no covered end and just a rolled up in the fryer, right?
Deep fry, yeah.
And so what I do is I snap that thing in half, and then I snap the very ends off of it with that been fried on the end because they're usually a little hot. And I sit there, and you got to let it rest, or else it's gonna burn the hell out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my gosh, it's fucking heaven! Oh, crispy burritos, come up to Washington.
Number two on the menu. Number 2 on the menu.
Chicken pizza.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just biased, but my friend's taco truck.
They also got a good white chicken chili.
They make.
My wife made that last night. White chicken chili. I hate chili. I do not like chili, but white chicken chili I get down with.
It's it's
Wow,
really good.
I'm gonna try that. We have a new recipe.
That's funny.
We're gonna try
Since
that.
we're talking about Mexican food, I'm going to share. My mother-in-law and I, we like to watch a lot of the travel channels sometimes. And there's this one that was Adam Richmond. And, he'd go to all these different restaurants and he'd give you like a 45-minute hour show about, the different things on the menu. Well, there's one place in San Francisco in the Mission District, and it was called La Taqueria El Cumbre.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, we went there for the burritos, and I don't know if it's just because we were like really hungry that they tasted so good, or if it's because the hype of watching him on TV and actually having it in person.
It's true. Like 25th and Mission, that's a spot. Down the block, there's like an old school, like it's like a street corner, 24th and Mission. My favorite is the one in Valencia Street and I think 17th. They're the original. Like that's where you go. It's always packed, and there's always lines.
Bro, do you guys know what's about to happen?
I thought it was Round Robin, but apparently he needs to change the name of that game.
So,
pardon, Steve?
The Niners won in the Super Bowl.
I'm getting back to it.
What's up, Brian?
SpaceX is going to be launching the Starship off with the Mechzilla in the next couple days, hopefully.
What's a Mechzilla?
The moon.
So they got the booster, and then they got the Starship that goes on top of it. Well, they know the Starship will go up, belly flop down, and then land straight up. They got that one down. Now they're going to see if the booster rocket for this behemoth can go up and then come back down and be caught mid-air by the Mechzilla launch pad. Like it's going to come down, fall on its side like the other one did, right itself at the last second, and then hover in place, and its flaps will be used to hold the thing as a hand comes in and grabs her.
Ryan.
What's up?
They delayed a few weeks ago?
No, they delayed it Monday. And then they delayed it again today.
Ryan, do you remember like a year, maybe it was 2 years ago, when people in Kent were like videotaping the shit just flying through the sky, but it was SpaceX's debris entering the atmosphere again? Did you see that on the news?
Yes.
So I was doing a side job on this guy's truck that day, and he goes, "Joe, get out here. I think someone's bombing us." And I was like, "Oh, fuck." And like, I look up in the sky. I'm like, fuck this. I'm going inside. I'm afraid of space. Biggest fear. Space and like people bombing me. And I'm
really?
Like, oh my God, we're all going to die. Yeah, I'm afraid of space and people bombing us. And that's it.
Once I found you couldn't like get on a clipper ship anymore and be a pirate, and trim the sails and shit, I immediately wanted to be a space pirate.
You know
what I'm saying? Because that's the next frontier, bro. I want to be a scallywag.
I'm afraid of space.
You're afraid of space?
Well,
yes, I'm afraid of space.
It's a very scary, deadly place. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, the deep void, the sheer thought of just floating off to anywhere. Like, oh gosh.
I'm a little disappointed because that mermaid...
be getting my booty.
Meteors. I'm afraid of meteors. Shit like that.
You guys remember the mermaid documentary that came out a couple years ago
on Disney? Ariel?
No, it was on Discovery Channel. The Discovery Channel. Well, I thought that was so real, super real. And then I go and watch it the other day because I'm all hyped about it, and then it says that it's fake, and I'm like,
manatees. It's basically that sea cow thing.
Dog, who was asking us about Bigfoot a couple nights ago? Was that you, Jon Jay?
Yeah, no. I was asking you that question.
Oh.
Hey, McNiner. David.
He's muted.
Oh. Hey, Joe. Which way does Purdy roll out to?
Same way I roll my head too. I read your comments, Steve-O. Don't act like I don't.
Just saying.
Okay, so like I was talking earlier, and you guys have heard me a couple times, and I believe in Brock Purdy. I believe in Trey Lance, but with his injury, the way it is, Brock Purdy's injury, I've made this statement before on other shows. Why are we rushing him back?
Who says we're rushing back? Who says that?
But that's what I've said, Steve-O. I've said that. I've asked the question to the chat. All of us here. I said, hey, why are we rushing him back? Why don't we redshirt him? Why don't we like put him on the pup list? Or why is this even a question? Like we have to have him back starting one.
Yeah, because 49er fans.
I know a lot of people, and John, I'll give you a chance to. I know a lot of people are very emotional about this because they want to see Trey Lance start so much. And it's not that I want to see Trey Lance start so much. I don't want to see Brock Purdy rushed out if he's physically not ready. Let's look at him, just like him as a person, outside of football. So you get Trey Lance, and he's healthy. So why aren't we trying to push for him? So that would be my round robin question for everybody. And John, go ahead and start it out.
Oh, I was going to say 49er fans are bipolar. I'm sorry.
That's for sure. It sounds like
yeah, bipolar. Just like the San Francisco weather, it's bipolar. It's hot, it's cold, it rains, and it's hot again. Never mind.
That's a coastal city weather.
Yeah,
that's a West Coast coastal city weather. I'm just saying because Seattle is the same way. It's overcast and it's muggy and all this and that, and then once the sun comes out, there's no place that's more gorgeous on the face of this earth.
It's a joke that people who live out here, hey, we have the bipolar weather. Never mind.
Well, Mark Twain said the coldest winter he ever spent was a summer in San Francisco.
She lived.
Well, and if you've ever been in San Francisco, and I know a couple of us have been in San Francisco, you better bring a jacket. Even if they say it's sunny and it's going to be a hot day, you better bring a jacket. You're right off the coast. There's wind.
There's only 3 types of weather in Washington.
Yeah, it rains like what, 2 times a week up there? Once for 3 days, and once for 4 days?
No, it just started raining. It's in the middle of raining and just got done raining.
Bro,
that's why it's so green.
It was snowing at my house this morning.
Me too.
It's the evergreen state, right?
No,
you guys are in the evergreen state, right?
Yeah.
No, wait, we are. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's different. It's because the trees keep their needles year round. They're conifers. Okay, that's different. But
you have a
rainforest
there.
The grass.
Joe said it earlier too. You're like the one place in America that has a rainforest.
There's a little rainforest, yes. No lie. There's a lot of cool stuff on the Olympic Peninsula that is very far away from each other in a long drive, but it's cool stuff. Like if you go up to Nia Bay, and it's a cool place out there too. Forks is where they shot Twilight. Shout out to Tony. I'm sure you'd like to make a trip over there.
Twilight, that's a good movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's over there in Forks. So you could, you can go walk down the street and go check it all out.
The first place we're going, me and Tony, we've been together for a while, but one big place for her family. My family's always been invited, but we wasn't always able or ready to go. When you say, hey, let's go camping, you gotta have camping bags. You gotta be ready, right? Or you gotta be like, okay, let's go. But one place that Tony's family always likes to go camping is Bodega Bay. So if you guys know the story, The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock and the Birds.
Yeah.
That's where Tony's family likes to go camping at. And
Evermore.
About a little bit about the
Bodega. Evermore.
Did you know Hitchcock used to try and do those shows in one piece of film?
Oh wow!
Like each scene would be like one take, and like they didn't they wanted one piece of film. Like nobody was going back in to splice it. And that was the thing. It was like, and that's why a lot of those actors went on there, because it was a way to test how good you were. You know what I'm saying? If you could pull off a good role, everybody knew you weren't doing multiple takes. You know what I'm saying? And the director is going to get down your throat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like pressure. So a lot of those Alfred Hitchcock stuff, like if you look at it, it's kind of crazy to watch.
Oh, and real quick, just give everybody, because I know we're all having fun right now, but Indiana Jones, I want to say, I can't tell you exactly which movie it was, but one of the movies he jumped out of a window was filmed here in Stockton, California at ULP. I want to say it was Raiders of the Lost Tomb. I'm not positive on that. Lost Ark. Okay.
God.
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to be all like cool and stuff, and I don't have the whole.
That's
title.
like the best movie.
Can I tell you something about Raiders of the Lost Ark?
If
Yes.
Ryan, if you know what scene I'm talking about, that was filmed in the campus of ULP here, right behind my backyard.
Oh, that would have probably been Raiders of the Lost Ark in the beginning, when he's trying to get away from all the girls who are trying to, like, the one lady's got the message written on her eyelids, so when she blinks her eyes, it's saying like "sleep with me" almost stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's that one. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
All right, Corey Davis. I need a really big shout out for Tony and Deanna. So
hey, you know what I mean? Like,
hey guys, Tony, Deanna, go ahead and pause your YouTube, because I think we're getting feedback on your guys' YouTube. Tony, or turn the volume down.
Gotta shut that off.
Hey guys, Cody, Deanna, go ahead.
Oh wow, it is really behind.
Yeah, we can see it in the background too. That's crazy.
Now we're good. We're good now, I think.
Wow.
So this is Deanna, Tony's aunt, and
hi, Deanna.
Hi, Deanna.
Hi, 49er fans.
Hi, Deanna.
Hello.
Nice to see you guys.
This is the family that I went to my first two 49er games with when we went to Candlestick, and we beat the Raiders and the Seahawks.
Nice.
So this is the time in the channel we should kind of get back to 49er talk. So if you guys got some good 49er questions, or I'll start out a good question.
You started one, but then we went off of it.
Yeah,
All right,
how could you, Bryant? The GOAT needs.
Oh, man.
Let's go back to that question.
Let's go. Let's go, Corey.
Okay.
All right.
You asked why we are trying to rush Brock Purdy back.
Yes.
I don't know why. We shouldn't rush him back. Let's give Trey Lance a try. Been saying this before. Brock Purdy ain't come back for at least week 4, week 5. Let Trey Lance have a week 5. Now Trey Lance is not doing good. By week 5, he's losing. He's struggling. Is it all because of him? Then we bring in Brock Purdy.
Well, what if Brock Purdy can't play the season?
We should be able to, because he's going
Well,
to be
no,
medically cleared.
that's the whole statement, though. Is like he came out and said, "I don't know if I'll be able to play this season."
That's speculation.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did say that. Well, if he can't, then we just have to either rock with
Go with Trey, or go with
Sam Donald.
Simple.
All right, David, let's hear what you got, and then let's go to Deanna and Tony, and then we'll make it back around to everybody.
Well, when it comes to Brock Purdy, he's saying, I don't know if I'm even playing this season. That's just where he's at right now, because he's so early in the process. You know, he's got a long way to go. You know, he's got to take the brace off. He'll start throwing a Nerf ball around, you know, get it moving.
I heard something about
rehab.
the brace being off already.
Yeah.
Brace is off already.
Well, the brace being off is step one.
But he still can't.
Then you start moving it. You know, you start getting your range of motion back. Then you'll start throwing. And keep in mind, I had to do some rehab on a slight UCL tear. It was like halfway. It wasn't a full tear like him. So I kind of have an idea what he's doing, but his was, surgically repaired. Mine wasn't. I just rehabbed it and let it heal. But yeah, getting his range of motion back is a big thing. And once he has his range of motion back, then he'll start throwing a light ball around. He'll start gaining strength, work his way up to a football. But I mean, getting back in game shape and everything else, I still think week 4 is the earliest he should try to come back. And that's not necessarily pushing it.
So you'd be in favor of putting him on the PUP list?
Yeah, actually I would. Yes, I would.
I would probably put him on IR, but
I kind of would put him on IR too, because I don't want to see him come back before week 8. But that's just me being me. Tony, Deanna, let's go ahead and head to you two. Let's hear what you both have to say, and then we'll go back to everybody else.
Well, I think that he's doing the right thing by being really cautious about what he says. As far as him getting filled up, it's a long process. I've had plenty of sprains, breaks, and whatnot, and I can tell you that what you might think you're capable of, it may take longer, and he might surprise everybody, and be back in week 6. I personally don't see him coming back before week 6. And as far as where would I place him? I'd put him on IR. I can see put him on IR. Tony, what are your thoughts there?
I agree. I don't think there shouldn't be a rush to come back. I mean, God forbid he comes back too early and he re-injures himself, and it's even worse. I mean, it's just give him some time. Let's ride with Trey Lance until then. That way we can see what Trey Lance has too to offer. Yeah,
whether it's him or Darnold, whoever the best man is at the time, whoever it ends up being, that's what we should do. I mean, to me, I think that right now it's up for grabs right now with him being in question, which is okay because now it puts some fire under Trey's ass, under his behind to really perform.
I agree. I think it's going to be going to make them both more competitive. Say Trey Lance comes out there and shines, and then Brock's like, wait a minute, now I got to step up my game even more.
Competition is always nice, very healthy for the quarterback position, especially when you want to expect the best from them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why I kind of like Sam Darnold too, because if Sam Darnold has this confidence behind like the coaching staff that they think, because supposedly Kyle wanted to draft Sam Darnold in the past, and he likes him. So if he thinks this guy he can win with him, then he's going to be scheming up stuff or whatever. And for whatever reason he's not scheming up, or he is scheming up stuff for Trey or whatever, it's just not working out. The play's breaking down or whatever. People are getting hurt, and you can't ever count on people getting hurt. That's something weird. It's bad luck or whatnot. But when you have like somebody like Brock Purdy who comes out and he gets spin around twice, and you're like, wow, this guy looks really fluid in the offense, that gives us a lot of hope. And I really don't want to see us rush this guy back because we are winning and we're hoping when he comes back we're going to still win. If we rush him back too early and he's still not ready, because they're saying that he could come back and start throwing right before week 1. Well, you should have a couple of weeks before you are throwing regularly. Like, you need to build chemistry with your wide receivers and your team, your offensive line. They should know how you feel when you go up to the line. So, oh, we know how you felt 8 months ago. That's not the same thing. Or 6 months ago, it's not the same thing. So I'm going to turn it back over to everybody else. I want to hear what Steve-O says and Ryan says and Joe says and Jon Jay and Deanna. Tony, don't go nowhere. So, Steve-O, what do you say?
Well, the person who did his surgery was one of the best, and I don't see him on podcasts like other people that get interviewed. So, I mean, people talking about rushing him back. I'm going to use this example, and maybe only Jon Jay will get it because it's a basketball reference. But Zion Williams was supposed to be the next LeBron James, and he's been injury prone. He was supposed to be in the playing game, and he's up, but they didn't let him play, and he's out there before the game doing windmill dunks. And the guy's amazing. And so I was like, why didn't he play? And they were like, oh, well, the team cleared him, but his own personal team didn't clear him. So they didn't make it the play-in tournament. They didn't make the playoffs. And then come to find out, after they lose, they're like, no, the team's like, no, we didn't medically clear him. So I'm glad it's not only our team that has this, like, you know what I mean? He said, she said stuff. But, I mean, so that happens in basketball as well. And, I mean, you just never know the truth. But I don't think we're trying to rush them back. I just think that's content creators trying to create a narrative so they feel more liked. And, like, can you imagine, though? It changes your life. I eat with my right hand all the time. If I broke my arm or something, I can't eat with my right hand. I can't wipe my butt with my right hand. I mean, that's life-changing. So I can understand why I'd say, I don't even know if I'm going to play this year. It messes with your brain.
Definitely.
I don't know.
What is wrong?
If you break your right hand, I'm sure you can wipe with your left.
Never done that my whole life. You don't understand.
Look, it's going to be awkward in the beginning, but I'm sure you go figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
But you see how it would mess your brain. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to, I don't even know if I'm going to, whatever.
You have to start practicing just in case you have to go that far.
Get on that.
I've had a broken right hand, and it just made my left hand better.
Yeah.
Yep. Same with me. I had to use my left hand. And this time I was
I've also been in a. Oh, go ahead, Korey.
I'm glad that this time it was my left hand, my left arm that I couldn't move, so I could just use my dominant arm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've also done a year in a walking boot. I had a complete wrist rebuild. That was the doctor wouldn't even release me to go back to work. It was 18 months total with all the surgeries, and I don't know how long I was in a cast. I lost track. But yeah, just the rehab and gaining the strength back in it, that took some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Getting the strength back is the big thing. I know when I was recovering from my motorcycle accident, my whole left side was pretty mangled, and it took me forever to get back. So I could see how he could, like you were saying earlier, mess with him, mess with his psyche, confidence. I was there myself.
Yeah, I can remember when I woke up one morning and I couldn't walk. And then when I was at the hospital laying in the bed, I was wondering if I was going to be able to walk again.
Yep.
To the journey to get back to walking again.
Yeah.
So when I was a little kid, go ahead, Korey. I'm sorry.
I'm through. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to go ahead, finish your story, and then I was going to jump in. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, it kind of scared me. So I'm thinking that was what Brock Purdy going through. He's injured. He don't know. You don't know if he's going to be able to, is he going to be back the same way? So he probably saying, I don't know if I'll be back playing a year.
From that standpoint, it makes sense, considering you can't necessarily say that, oh, yeah, when I come back after this injury, I'm going to be Brock Purdy, the same guy I did, when I was playing when you last seen me, because he could be completely worse and full of crap and not ever play the same way, and then we're really screwed, because hopefully we do pick up a quarterback in this situation.
I think it's a story. I think it's a line. I think it's a line. I think the organization said, hey, go out there and say you don't know how your rehab's doing, because then everybody will stop thinking we're going to trade Trey Lance. Because if we want to, and you're healthy, and you're saying you're healthy, it doesn't look good for us. But if you say you don't know what's going on, then we have more like we can maneuver a little bit more. But if we were saying we're going to trade Trey Lance, then what are we going to get from him? You're not going to when you put I'm selling my car, and you say I want to sell my car for like $2,000. The first time someone pulls up, I'll give you $1,000 for your car. Next time, I'll give you $800 for your car. Mm-hmm. Why does it keep losing value? I put $2,000 out there for it, right?
Hey, it looks like we got some breaking news.
Uh-oh. All right, let's hear it.
Looks like Draymond Green has been suspended for 1 game without pay for stepping on the chest of Sabonis.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not surprised.
$100, you win $240 if the Kings win. And I said you better do it before Draymond Green gets suspended because it's going to go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever.
But as far as Purdy goes, like, let's just go through last year, right? His parents bought the tickets in preseason before the game, right? They didn't know to see Tom Brady. They didn't know he was going to be playing. All of a sudden, bam, he's in the game, right? They go to see Tom Brady. He's playing against Tom Brady. He's running and throwing touchdowns. And then the whole stadium is chanting his parents are sitting in the stadium. The whole stadium chanting his kid's name. I mean, like, so he's like way up here, right? And everything else he did. And then like now he's like way down here, like, can't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still going around talking about Brock Purdy and when he's coming back? Because it seemed like it totally diverted before it got around to everybody else.
You go back to it.
That's what happens when you have breaking news. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was already diverted before that, Steve-O, if you couldn't tell.
Yep.
True.
All right, Ryan. Let's hear what you got to say about Brock Purdy. Because no, we wanted everybody to get a chance to say something.
It wasn't just me. There's also Joe over here.
I'm good.
Joe's
We've talked about Purdy.
Oh, hey, Joe.
We've talked about Purdy and Trey Lance so much.
I love you, Joe.
That's like all we've talked about.
Yeah,
I know. We're going to talk about Geno Smith in a couple minutes. Don't worry.
No, that's not what I mean.
Hair color. What is Metcalf's new hair color?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Whatever.
I think Purdy, like a lot of people were saying, I think he goes on IR. I think that 49ers are always known for making a run at the end of the season. And it only makes sense to just at least see what Trey has for at least the first 6 games. And if there isn't something there, then you can let Brock Purdy come back, take over, and, do whatever you think he's going to do and lead us to the promised land and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But we got to see what we got in Trey first.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Brock Purdy, he hasn't had an off season. Right now, while Trey Lance is getting better, Brock Purdy is trying to get back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole league now has a scouting report on Brock Purdy, and he can't do anything to change it. Because he's still got the same tendencies that are on that scouting report, and he can't, work to try and change his habits. Like, remember when Richard Sherman called out Jimmy Garoppolo and said that he taps the ball right before he throws it? That's one thing he found. See, if somebody in the league sees that from Brock Purdy, you know what I mean? Brock Purdy doesn't have the chance to get the muscle memory to stop slapping the ball right before he throws it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's those types of things that, yes, he's also coming back from this injury, but he's also got to do his off-season type stuff that, especially like quarterbacks and, wide receivers, those people, defensive ends, offensive tackles, you know what I mean? These are the people that need to, know what their scouting report is. Linebackers, you know what I mean? They need cornerbacks. They need to know what their scouting report is so they can do work in the off season to negate that scouting report and make somebody have to write a new report about them because the old stuff isn't valid anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like I think every 49er fan, I think agrees that you put the healthy quarterback out there, and if Purdy's not healthy, you put Trey or Sam. Like I do agree. Like we do over obsess with the quarterback position. That's why I don't talk about it. And even when Jimmy was on the roster, I rarely talked about it because it was always the same, the same thing over and over again. So again, like very, very simple. If Brock Purdy needs time, put him on the PUP list. That's different than IR. IR, you're there for 6 weeks. Just hit him to start off there. And if he needs more time, that's the PUP list. So whoever the healthy quarterback is, that's the healthy quarterback. You ride with it. It doesn't matter who's there because I've said this for the last 3 years. We got McCaffrey in the backfield. We got Kittle. We got Ayuk. We got Debo. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Those playmakers are going to be good for whoever that quarterback is. So I'm not worried.
Well, I'm worried if we had Johnson in
there. Yeah, not him. Somebody.
Okay, I got a question for Joe.
Yo.
I heard that your ex-quarterback was in a golf cart accident.
Let's ride, baby. Yeah. Yeah, he flipped his golf cart like a big dumb dipshit that he is.
True.
I mean, how can it possibly get worse? Okay, go and flip your golf cart. All right, yeah.
I'm
said
gonna be
on
honest
Niners
with you
that he better have been drinking, and that better have been the reason because
if you don't drink.
That's the thing. Like I'm like, he better have been drinking because I know he's not a drinker. Because that's the only reasonable response for flipping your golf cart. When you're
over
sober.
A bunker, yeah, he's just a big dumb dipshit that's finally getting what he is deserving. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we used to make fun of him for a really long time for being as corny and douchey as he is. But since we're tucked over in the Pacific Northwest, the national media doesn't hear it. But he made himself the focus of the national media, and look at how it's working out for him now.
What were you saying, David?
So I've jumped a golf cart, and the same golf cart, we got stuck in a pond. I had way too much fun that day, and needless to say, me and my friends are not allowed back at that golf course. But how do you flip
this was on a golf
cart?
course.
Come on, man.
Hey, and he wasn't trying to jump nothing. You know what I'm saying? This guy was like, sorry ladies or sorry people with lighter hair. He had a blonde moment. This was a blonde moment. And like, I'm guessing this was a total blonde moment. He's going to say, oh, I was doing this and I didn't know there was a bunker there and I blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Nah, he was having.
But yeah, it wasn't all the way submerged. It's just the front tires were like in and buried. I mean, the golf cart was fine. I didn't ruin anything, but it wasn't necessarily me that did that. I jumped it. My friend got it stuck. So
the jumping was probably the one thing they really didn't like.
He was doing high knees on the golf cart. That's what happened.
Yeah, probably.
McNiner, I have to hang out with you one day. I have to.
Fuck, I'm moving in. Sounds like he's got an open spot since the SWAT team raided one of the places.
Yeah, how'd that go?
I forgot to tell you guys all about that. So they were looking for a guy. They were looking for a guy that hasn't been here in a month.
Did he look like a man?
He was visiting the lady that rents the apartment a month ago.
Oh.
And apparently the day before they came over here, he held a weapon to someone's head.
Ooh.
So this is the type of individual that you don't want on the street. But what's going on? They actually smashed out one of my windows. They didn't kick in my door. Well, the window was the only damage. And they're actually replacing it because, number one, the name on the warrant is not on the lease. He doesn't live here. So why are you guys pulling up here looking for him?
Did you hear about the lady
And
who got the cops to pay after they demolished her whole house?
oh, really?
Yeah, it is because okay, so some guy was like loose. Let's say it was a traffic, thing. He got out of the car, ran into their house, and it was like he was held off in their house while no one was there. Like she had left the house, they were about to sell it, no one was there. They tore up the house, and she did it under eminent domain. Essentially, she's saying, "Hey, you guys took my house as yours for the betterment of the community." You know what I'm saying? And then you destroyed it, but you never paid me for it. You know what I'm saying? And so she got them to pay I think it was like $400,000.
Wow. All right. So Tony has a question for Tony.
Okay.
I'm not so sure if it's a question, but okay. So since Kyle Shanahan,
and it's for the whole
don't
panel.
know if it's a question. Do you put a
And it's
question
about
mark after it?
Yeah.
It's for the whole panel, but we're gonna go Tony to Tony, and then we're gonna go probably to Joe. We'll go maybe David McNiner, Korey Davis, Jon Jay, and then Bryant and Steve-O. We'll try to bounce around everybody.
So with Kyle Shanahan being in the middle of his extended contract and his contract ending, what is it, 2025?
2027 now?
Is it 2027? I thought it was 2025.
Okay. But go ahead, keep going.
But with Kyle Shanahan being about halfway through, maybe less than halfway through, are we going to be seeing Shanahan continuing to play the same way? Are we going to be seeing him maybe with different offensive techniques, or are we going to still see the same Shanahan that we've been seeing since we've had Garoppolo?
Yeah, he's locked into 2025.
He's got only about 2.5 more years, maybe 3 at the most. Do we expect to see Shanahan, knowing that his time is going to be coming to an end, start pulling punches, or is he going to start just...
Or do we re-sign Shanahan? What do you think, Cody? At this point?
Well, we've already extended him. So
do we re-sign him, or does it depend on this year?
He's got to make it through his extension first before you decide to re-sign him.
That's a tough one. Because
it's 2025, and that it's getting really close.
Yeah, I like him, but we got to win that chip. We got to win that Super Bowl. We have to. I mean, we have a lot of success, but it's like that's the standard that everybody holds a good coach to. Is, hey, did he get a chip? And that's
do you believe Shanahan has that in him to do that within the next 2.5 to 3 years?
I think so.
We'll see.
So if he went to, again, this is Tony, but the question is going to be to everybody, not this question, but if Shanahan gets to the NFC Championship and loses the next 2 years, do you re-sign him?
Yep. That's a tough one.
I would say
no.
Hold on, Korey. Tony's talking. We're going around robin. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
no.
no.
We'll give everybody the same kind of question.
If we go the last 2 years and we don't win it, no, I don't think we resign him.
So you move off of him. Do you make him the new Andy Reid?
It's tough because it's just like, I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. Is to consistently go to the championship and just lose. Just my opinion.
I definitely feel it because it's like, if the coach is like the top of the totem pole, he's supposed to take all the punches. He's supposed to have all of the say, right? But then again, the coach can't go out there and run the offense. He does call a play, right? But he can't catch the ball. He can't kick the field goal. So, I mean, like he can't be accountable for certain injuries. Some injuries he can definitely derail injuries by not running certain quarterbacks up the middle and two quarterbacks in the same season, right? Mm-hmm. But like for the most part, like the coach, if you, I mean, at a certain point, like it's either bad luck or it's Yeah, I feel it. So I definitely feel it. But I'm going to ask the same question to everybody else. Let's go to Korey real quick. Korey,
Now you're
2025.
bouncing around to Korey.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's supposed to go to Joe.
Joe. I'm sorry.
You
Tony.
said it was Joe.
I
Tony
defer
got
to
me.
Korey. Korey had something to
Tony,
say.
no, Tony got me straight. I'm sorry. I'm so excited right now. Tony's here and Tony's here.
We're trying to ask one question
I
at
mean,
a time.
I got
Bryant
two
to stop
Tonys
talking
right
and answer the
now.
one question.
I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. Tony's running the chat.
Bryant's gotta be quiet.
So Joe, what's your thoughts? What do the Niners do?
I think keep him. If he were to go to 3 straight NFC Championship games and not win them, yeah, I think you keep him 100%. Because who are you going to get that's better in the market right now? Who are you going to get that's better than him? Jon Jay? Sorry, Steve. I was just looking at you, pointing at Jon Jay. But no, I mean honestly, who are you going to get that's better? Keenan, would you rather have Chip Kelly? Would you rather have who was the other guy? Was it Tom Sula? Was he your guys' coach?
Yeah, Jimmy T.
Yeah. I mean, tell me, would you rather have those two or Kyle Shanahan? Another coach like those two to where they're just the team's in the gutter, or Kyle Shanahan? A coach goes a long way. It's hard to dump a guy because then it's basically rebuilding because you're changing the whole culture of the locker room as well.
A side question, real quick. How long have you had Pete Carroll?
This will be year number 12.
I thought Tony was running the things.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tony, mute Bryant.
Hey, do you have the duct tape? Do you have duct tape?
I can't believe I
was just kidding, Bryant.
So is it David McNiner's turn?
Yes.
Okay. So, me being the old school 49er fan I am, if we go to 2025 and don't win a Super Bowl, bye, Kyle. Straight up. I'm a 49er fan. We're supposed to be winning Super Bowls. Making it to the NFC Championship game is not good enough. If the Yorks think they're good enough, they need to fire themselves and sell it to someone who wants to win a Super Bowl.
I agree. Korey shaking his head. What do you have to say, Korey?
I agree. If we keep on just going by 25, going to make it to the NFC Championship and not making the Super Bowl win it, bye, Cal. Go away. I want to see you leave out that door because I want a Super Bowl. I was spoiled. I saw 5. I want to see my 6 while I'm here. So, bye, Cal. And like David says, if the York have a problem, they can go bye-bye too. Because I want to see a Super Bowl. We can't settle for mediocrity. We got to have that high standard. You got to say, I'm sorry, Cal. You tried. It looked like you cannot win the big one. I need a coach that can win the big one. I need a Bill Walsh.
Mm-hmm. What does Ryan think?
I think that Jed York is scared to go back to the days of old, and that NFC Championship and NFC Championship and NFC Championship is good enough for him because he doesn't want the days of 3 and 13, the 3 and 17, or 3 and 14. He doesn't want that to come back. Also, you got to think getting there is getting to the NFC Championship. Only 4 teams a year are good enough to get there. And I'm not saying I'm okay with it. It just, to me, it shows we're in the right area. You know what I mean? Like we're close. And look, we're not getting the cigar, but at some point, I have a feeling it's going to happen. And I don't think you can move off a coach like Kyle Shanahan with getting to something like 3 straight consecutive NFC championships. And when I think about it through Jed's eye, I really don't see it. It would be different. It would be different if there was an heir apparent on the team that we could go to, that could, take over and, run the same style of team. You know what I mean? But we don't have that. And around the league, everybody is taking guesses with every single. You had Sean Payton out there. We don't know if Sean Payton's going to do something in Denver. People think, oh, he's won a Super Bowl. Yes, he's won a Super Bowl. Did he get back there? Is he that good? You know what I mean? Kyle Shanahan's been to more Super Bowls. Well, I don't know that. Peyton could have been on Super Bowls on other teams. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I know Kyle's been to 2 Super Bowls. He didn't win any of them, but he's been there twice. And that's more than Peyton was with the Saints. So it's who you going to find? Because that's one thing when I was like, oh, Shanahan, he pissed me off, when he ran Trey into the ground. I was like, screw this guy. People's like, okay, all right, you mad at him. You want him to go. Okay. Who do you replace him with that gives us a better option? I don't see anybody. We would have to, the identity of this team is not what teams look like throughout the league. So anybody who isn't coming from within is probably going to come in and things are going to need to change because they are going to run a totally different scheme. And that's going to cost draft capital. You know what I mean? You're going to have to trade for people. We've already got one team here set. Might as well whack it till the wheels fall off and all these guys, retire. That's pretty much it. We might as well just run this same system till then.
I feel it because it seems like we're going to give everybody a chance to talk. But what I was saying to expand to what Ryan's saying is it seems like if you're going to give Kyle his chance, then you let the guys that he drafted retire with him because there's only so much time. And if we're getting to the NFC Championship game and we're just not getting over the hump, there has to be a reason, like a missing piece. And you can't say it's the coach if he consecutively gets to that stage. Let's go ahead and hear from Steve-O.
I agree with Ryan and McNiner. We do have high standards, which is weird because that was the first job I remember my mom having. But but the other thing is too is like the law of averages, and we were close on those two we missed. But the odds of anybody ever going 7-0 in Super Bowls is like, it's against us. And despite Karen Tone, Weasel calling people Weasel, that's kind of weird today. But like, he's not going to get fired. I mean, he grew up. He was multiple different positions as coaches. He didn't just he was a ball boy. Well, positional coaches, wide receiver, and all that. Like he worked his way up, and he's young. I think he has a pass. And I mean, everybody's jealous of him right now. And he changes up his playbook every year. And, it's really sophisticated. I mean, I watched film the last a year and a half or whatever, and he's really smart. He sets up plays for the next week, and a lot of coaches don't do that. And so, I think he has an unlimited pass. And I mean, you can't. What are you gonna get? You're gonna go for the next hot thing coming out of college? Like how often does that work?
All right, Jon Jay, your thoughts?
Let's see. Like for me, like I consider Kyle Shanahan, and I don't care about his NFC Championship game appearance, that one Super Bowl. He is Jason Garrett. For those who don't know who Jason Garrett is, he was a coach that should not have been as a coach for 10 years. Look at his first 4 years. He had a 29 and 27 win record. And you're also coaching the Cowboys. You know, they also have great history. But Jerry Jones had a soft spot for him. And it's the same thing. Like basically, Jed York is like, Kyle, you do what you want to do. You run the show. I'm not going to do nothing. Second, I think after the Harbaugh situation, and I will always say this, even in 10 years, 50 years, whatever down the road, the mess that happened of that, Jed York is trying to make sure I don't want to give up on what we have. And I think that's the only reason why we have Kyle. It took Kyle this year to be over 500. Okay. That's the reason why I call him Jason Garrett. He was a 500 coach his entire career. He made the playoffs three different times. He's Jason Garrett. So if we, again, have a good year, we do well in the playoffs, and we lose in the conference championship game, and that happens again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. I've seen this show. I've said this to YTC and his friends. I've seen the Niners make the playoffs. Check mark. I've seen the Niners win playoff games. Check mark. I've seen them in the Super Bowl. Check mark. What have I not seen? A Super Bowl. So as a 49er fan who's been watching this thing year after year after year, and I know, I'm very fortunate that I grew up nearby Candlestick Park. I was able to go to games at that state. I'm very fortunate. We have been garbage for so long. And just because we went to a Super Bowl in 2019, the following year, you could say what you want about 2020. We were 6-10, and the defense played really well. We didn't have an offense. Okay. The following year, Jimmy Garoppolo was healthy. We gave him one more year, and we still had the same Jimmy. We got to put a little bit of emphasis that Kyle makes the decisions. And if Jimmy was never the guy, they should have just got rid of him. As a coach, you have to make tough decisions. No disrespect, Jimmy. We like you, but we're going to draft, Mac Jones or Justin Fields because they played more. No, we went for Trey Lance. That was an indicator that Jimmy was going to stay and finish out his contract and develop this kid. Look at the predicament that we are now. Brock Purdy, we don't know what's going to happen. Trey Lance, there's a lot of question marks, and we brought in Sam Darnold. This is the 7th offseason, and we're still talking about the quarterback. We have a Super Bowl caliber team, but just like everyone says, we just don't know about the quarterback. So we have to really, really understand as 49er fans, do we want to be okay and be a playoff team and just do, success and not win Super Bowls? Or should we be a better team? As in my simple philosophy, if you're going to follow this team, you have to be just like me. We have to understand this is a team with great history. But in the past 25 plus years, what have we been? An okay franchise. Okay. I'm going to use this word that I've learned. The Niners have been poverty in the last 25 plus years.
I mean, as far as Jason Garrett, I thought he was a crappy coach, but after watching him on TV, he's actually started to grow on me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Good points, John. Really good points. I think you nailed it. There's a lot of things. It seems like, and I'm not the only person that said it. I heard it today too, but I've thought about it myself, but I'm not taking credit for it. Sometimes when you think about things and no one says it for a little while, it kind of goes unnoticed, but we can all agree. It seems like when Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt and he held out when he had his leg injury, right? His high ankle sprain. The Niners were done with him. He had already went to a Super Bowl, but he can't stay healthy. You don't stay healthy 2018. Now 2020 comes around, you're not healthy. 2021, what happens there 2022. You go to an NFC championship, but you're in and out. So it's like your best availability is being healthy. And if you can't stay healthy, it doesn't matter if you're Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy. But is that the mentality of the team right now? The mentality of the team seems like we just need somebody to suit up, because it seems like it's not directed necessarily as a quarterback driven team. So as long as the quarterback's capable, we can let CMC and Debo and Kittle wield us to wins. And I don't think that's gonna get us a Super Bowl. So if anybody wants to elaborate on that, the floor is open to everybody. And if anybody has a question, but those are my thoughts.
I would hate to see though that we do fire Kyle and he go to another team, and all of a sudden he's going to Super Bowl now. Same thing, probably like the Eagles are saying now. Damn, we had a winning coach. Fired him. He went to Kansas City. Nah, he didn't win 2 Super Bowls with them.
But it took Andy Reid 5 seasons before he got that Super Bowl, because he had Alex Smith, and they were winning a lot of games in Kansas City. Like I'm not gonna lie, when Alex Smith went to Kansas City, I was watching some Kansas City Chiefs games to see, and they were winning, but they weren't winning because of Alex Smith. So eventually he's like, you know what, I need a quarterback, and he drafted Patrick Mahomes, and it was the best decision Kansas City made. So I'm not saying that because he went to Kansas City, he became a really good coach. It took him 5 years before, they went to the NFC Championship game. They technically could, if D4 didn't go off sides, but in 2019, they won. We didn't, and they made the right plays at the right time. We didn't. And then Patrick Mahomes won another Super Bowl this past. So, I'm not saying Kyle is a bad coach. I'm not saying that. I think he's an outstanding play caller. I just think that as a coach, you have to look out for the team and make the tough decisions. And again, like I said, after 2020, I was done with Jimmy Garoppolo. I remember watching those games where they were in Arizona, and he was sitting there with Trent Williams and Richard Sherman and all those guys, and Jimmy was laughing and having fun up there. And I'm like, and at the end of the day, you sometimes have to make that tough decision. Again, I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo. I know some people, think I'm too nice to him, but I've never liked him. Even when the Patriots drafted him, I was never a Garoppolo dude, because he's been a Niner. I've been just doing what a fan does. You show respect to him, but I've never been a Jimmy Garoppolo guy. But this is the 7th offseason. And again, and I've said this on many other streams, other content creators, other non-49er shows. What do new coaches do when they are signed to a bad team? They draft a quarterback. He didn't do that.
Well, he did. He did draft, he did draft CJ Beathard. He drafted Nick Mullins. He did draft quarterbacks. They just weren't the ones that worked out. Maybe if Mullins didn't tear his, ACL or what, tear his, elbow up, or if Nick Mullins had an offensive line, because a lot of people, not Nick Mullins, but CJ Beathard, a lot of people give CJ Beathard a hard time because he got sacked so much. Well, the offensive line was configurating together. They were trying to figure out who was good and who was bad. We didn't have Trent Williams. We didn't have a lot of players, we were a bunch of guys, right? We were the Chip Kelly and the Jim Tossilla 49ers when Kyle first got here. He brought in Hoyer, the Destroyer, Brian Hoyer. He came out and he said he's seen ghosts too. He was saying he's seen ghosts out there on the field with the 49ers. CJ Beathard came out and I mean the guy could throw 80 yards. He could throw 80 yards. Marquise Goodwin and him linked up and I mean the guy had the best spiral in camp, even with Jimmy on the team. But he didn't have the footwork. And if you can't move around in the pocket, I mean, I get it. And I like CJ, and the team did too. But the team moved off of him, and the locker room didn't like moving off of CJ, but that was a financial decision. That was a management decision. CJ's Beathard, shout out to his brother. Very sad story if you guys have heard about it.
Yeah, his brother.
My heart goes out to him and his family, but you can't root for necessarily the name on the back of the jersey. You have to root for the name on the front. And Jimmy came in and he won like 5 games. And instead of us maybe holding back a little bit, his agent pressured us into signing him with 5 games under his contract. And it was because why? We didn't want to go and sign Tom Brady, or we didn't think we could sign Tom Brady. There's a big rumor on why Jimmy Garoppolo came to our team anyways. And I don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly there was a baby involved and they wanted to get rid of Jimmy in New England. And if that's true, that sucks. But if that's not true, then I'm sorry for even bringing it up. But there's a reason they wanted to get rid of Jimmy and not Tom Brady. And it's really weird that they got rid of Tom Brady shortly after it. So it's obvious that the Niners wanted to get a veteran quarterback. We couldn't get Tom Brady. We couldn't get Deshaun Watson. We couldn't get Matthew Stafford. We couldn't get Aaron Rodgers. We settled for Trey Lance. And a lot of people are like, okay, let's roll with Trey. Let's roll with Trey then. But then he gets hurt. He breaks his middle finger. He comes in the Cardinal game. He bangs up his knee. He comes into the Texan game. He looks really good until the second half. Well, he hadn't played for a couple of games. So, I mean, you imagine the first 2 quarters, he could be rocky. But, it wasn't really overwhelmingly he won the game. He threw the ball to Debo, and Debo won the game. So does that go back to what I said earlier? Does Kyle Shanahan really think that it doesn't matter what quarterback he has because he can wield this team to a victory with Kittle and Debo and CMC now? I mean, it doesn't really seem like Kyle believes he needs a legitimate quarterback.
Well, again, did he draft a quarterback in 2017? Yes, but back to every coach that has either the number 1 pick or a top 5 pick, and they need a quarterback. They draft them in the first round. They don't. I'm going to wait to the second round or the third round or the fourth round or the fifth round. You're looking for a franchise quarterback, or
it's 10 o'clock.
No shit.
Yeah, it is. I think I'm gonna head out of here, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna be at work hella early.
Joe, thank you so much for coming. You're always invited, and I always appreciate your input.
Mm-hmm.
Peace out, Joe.
Guys.
Yep.
I'll see
All
you.
right, Joe.
I got a show with Ryan tomorrow on his channel, I think. So see you guys.
I'll be there.
All right.
I'll see you then.
All right. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. So,
real quick, John. I'm sorry. Real quick, John. That's Joe Stevens. He has a Seahawk channel. I think it's called Joe Stevens. Is it not, Ryan?
What?
What's Joe's channel called?
Joe Stevens Seahawk Talk.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't mind, go and subscribe. It's a really great channel. I don't know how to throw descriptions just yet, but I'll start throwing descriptions in for everybody who that comes. But Joe's cool, and he talks 49ers, he talks Seahawks, he talks Ravens, he talks football. And if you're polite, Joe can, even if you're not polite, Joe knows how to throw it back in a good way. So please subscribe to Joe. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead, John.
So basically, when you draft a quarterback, you get them in the first round, or they could have pursued someone who was better than Hoyer and then develop the quarterback that they wanted. Like the like I personally think, and again, what I scout the quarterbacks. I kind of felt that Deshaun Keisner, for those who don't know that name, was one of the quarterbacks.
Keisner Permanente.
His name is Deshaun Keisner. That's all that I know. He was from Notre Dame. Basically had the same traits that Kyle. It looks for a quarterback, a mobile quarterback, strong arm, good in the pocket. Of course, Notre Dame quarterbacks. If your name is not Joe Montana, like not too many quarterbacks from that school, have produced great quarterbacks. But
Brady Quinn.
I think that's who Kyle wanted, but because we traded up to get Reuben Foster, the Browns drafted them like 4 picks before us. So, and they also needed a quarterback because they drafted Myles Garrett that draft. So, I think that's who they wanted. And then I think after that quarterback, like because Kyle has his grading system, and again, this is common knowledge. He told it to all the reporters, all the people on the Fox sports, during the reporters during the games, that when Deshaun Keisner was off the board, his next quarterback he really liked was C.J. Beathard. So when C.J. Beathard was there, that's why we drafted him, because he wasn't technically a quarterback I would have drafted, but he really liked. He said that he kind of reminded him of Matt Schaub when he was in Houston, so that's why I think he drafted him. So, but back to what I'm trying to say is that he could have found a better quarterback. Like RG3 was there. I don't know if RG3 wanted to play with Kyle again. Jay Cutler was a free agent. Jay Cutler's Kyle's father drafted them. There were some options that was better than Ryan Hoyer. So overall, like you draft your quarterback in the first round and you build around, that's why, when you draft your quarterback 3 years to develop them, put the right pieces around them. But again, we're back to this conversation that we're still talking about after 7 years since he's been on this team. Who's the quarterback? Is it Trey, Purdy, Darnold? We're still back to this conversation.
Yep. And did we draft Nick Mullins, or did he come on as a free agent?
Undrafted free agent.
Undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
So
I thought so.
Yeah. We get a lot of people being undrafted free agents. I don't get it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I
actually talked about this last year. The 2019 draft, it's technically like our roster right now. I think that was our basically our 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, and the undrafted class. I think that's the majority of the players that are on our roster was the 2019 draft. The 2019 draft was good. Of course, Debo, Bosa, but there was a lot of undrafted and 6, 7 rounders that are still on the team.
What do you think, Tony? What you got, man? I'm so excited you're here. I want to hear your thoughts.
You don't sound as excited as you were earlier. It seemed like you're like the adrenaline rush wore off a little bit, and you're kind of getting a little tired. You still, I'm not saying that you're not happy he's here, but I'm saying I can tell that like the voice has changed a little bit.
Well, see, maybe I've had maybe I had 1 beer or 2, but no, I'm still here.
Oh, he's back here having beers.
I'm definitely excited that Tony's here, and I look forward to having Tony on like a Saturday show, like an early guest appearance, and having you guys come on with the panel, because not only is Tony a faithful, Tony is knowledgeable about the team. He goes to games. I mean, like, you could cut him right now and he'd be bleeding red and gold. That's Tony, and I'm telling you, Tony, if I could ask you your overall thoughts, I know it's Super Bowl or bust, but Tony asked this earlier to Joe Stevens, and he kind of well, she puts it out a poll on her Twitter. So if you got Twitter, we'll have to link up. But Tony likes to put out a Twitter poll, not every day, but a couple times a week. She'll ask a random question. and she recently asked if the Niners are going to sweep the NFC West again. And a couple people were like, well, heck yeah, because we got mainly 49er fans that are, following us back. But Joe seen it, and he asked her, like, do you think we're sweeping the NFC West? And modestly, but confidently, she said yes. So what's your thoughts? Are we going 6-0 against the NFC West, or do you think Seattle's formidable, or what's your thoughts?
I think so. I think we're going to sweep the West. I don't see the Rams being a threat. I don't see the Cardinals being a threat. Seahawks, it's a maybe. Depends on how well our quarterback situation is. How if they come out and they ball, we're going to sweep them. That's my thoughts on it.
I think if any team can contend with us this year, it will be Seattle. Joe makes a good point. He thinks we'll win one in San Francisco or Santa Clara, and they'll win one in Seattle. I would be happier if we won one in Seattle and they won one in San Francisco or Santa Clara, to be honest with you. I kind of would rather win in Seattle. But I really hope we win, we sweep, but that's a whole lot to ask for. We haven't swept since 97. So
what up, Aaron?
We got a good panel tonight. Good panel, good chat.
Just noticed Aaron from 49ers First Takes popped in.
Man, I'm so glad he came back the other night. Tony, there's a guy named Aaron for 49ers First Takes. I know you're new to YouTube, but he's been doing it for a long time. He brings up a lot of good content. He's been grinding. He used to do like Saturday videos, and then he started doing more live streams, and he does panel videos like this. But he's always got a good stream, and shout out to Aaron. He's a great guy. I've become friends with Aaron over the last couple of years, and I really like Aaron. It's nice to see people like that pop in. Aaron's got a big YouTube channel, and he's modest and says he's got a small channel, but there's a lot of support back there, and sometimes you gotta understand there's a lot of people that support you. So shout out Aaron. But Tony, let me ask you another good question. I know everybody's here, and we can piggyback off of this. We'll go one more round robin off of this question. But since you've been to a lot of Levi games and San Francisco games, Candlestick games, it doesn't matter like necessarily the ramification of the game or the outcome of the game. Can you tell me a game that you've been to that had something significant that you'll like probably go to your grave remembering? And before you say anything, I'm going to tell you, I went to the Niner Packer game, the opening game, and I think 2021 with Tony and the girls. And Trey Lance got to score a touchdown. We see Jimmy Garoppolo out there. Aaron Rodgers threw that like amazing catch that Fred Warner wasn't able to tip. So for me, that would be my game. But for you, I know you've got so many other outlooks and stuff. So can you give us a memory from either game, Candlestick or Levi's, that you can give us a little reminisce of?
I have to go back to the Candlestick one. It was a Niners Raiders regular season game, and I remember, I believe it was Johnny Walters that threw the ball backwards to Lamont Jordan, and Lamont Jordan touched the ball, and he stood there, and I'm like, this is a live football. That's considered a handoff. And Manny Lawson picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown. That was one of the funnest games I've ever been to, was a Niner Raider game. And the Raider fans were laughing until they realized, wait a minute, the Niners just scored a touchdown.
That's why I like. Well, I really like talking to you because Manny Lawson. I mean, like, what a name! I mean, he was a good player for us for a little while, short period of time on the team, but he was a good player. All right, Ryan. Same question to you. Niner game, Seahawk game. I know you've been to some games, but what's your favorite memory at a game, or even on TV? It doesn't matter. That you can remember that you're gonna like probably go to your grave, or you'll remember telling your little girl.
It's got to be Terrell Owens on the star.
Ooh, I love it.
How can you not remember that?
Yep.
Like I watched that live on television.
Yep.
Yeah. I also remember where I was when he pulled out the Sharpie. I was in Everett at my buddy Steve's house with that one drunken uncle whose nickname was a racial slur. Yeah.
Shout out, Uncle.
Yeah. Bro, he used to get so upset when I'd call him by his real name. He'd like seriously like to fighting. Like it was bad because I'm not trying to say racial slurs to people. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're asking me to. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to in public try to hear me refer to you, anybody, like it's just not okay. He was a Navy guy, and that's, obviously, how the Navy is. But they gave him that name and he had to be called by it. And I was like, oh my God.
All right, John. What's your fondest memory, or what's a memory that you would tell your offspring, or you tell like at the end of your day, you go to a bar or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you're just chopping up, and you got to go back into memory lane. You're like, hey, this is the memory I do. This is my fondest memory of the 49ers. All right, John, we're coming back to you. Korey, I see you're not muted.
Okay.
My bad, I was muted.
All right, we'll jump back to you, John. We're gonna go Korey first, and we'll go to you.
Yeah, let Korey go.
I have to say the 40 Al Smith and game with the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, I like it. The playoff game.
Yeah, the one that went back and forth.
The catch 3.
Yep.
Oh man.
If I remember,
there's a lot of good games.
Sitting at the edge of my seat, like this, going, come on. That game, NTO's catch against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Dude, both Seahawks games in 2019.
Yeah.
We won one and we lost one, and they both were just like emotional roller coasters. You want to talk about edge of the seat? Like you were up off the seat, back on the seat, up off the seat, on the edge of the seat. You know what I mean? Like it was
true. And that was a game that the kicker screwed up. Cough, cough.
Jon Jay, what's your favorite one?
My favorite, like Seahawks Niner moment.
No, your favorite 49er game.
Like your moment, like you're gonna be like either telling your offspring, telling your nephew, relatives, or one day you go to a bar and you're just cutting it up with somebody, and it's like you just tell them you're pulling something out of your back pocket, and you're like, "Hey, do you know this moment in time?"
If you had to explain why a play in football to an alien, and why you were a Niners fan, and why this one play or this one game was the reason why this alien should watch football.
Oh, okay. Man, there's just so many moments. Like
it's got to be significant to you, you dropped like the chip or something, you spilt the beer on your.
And that's still hard because again, there's so many moments. For me, my favorite moment. Basically, I put this at the top because there's so many moments, but like after watching, from 2005 to 2010, and Alex Smith, I'm not gonna lie, I tried my best to support him, but he always made me mad. That game against the Saints, where he proved all of my doubts, what he battled Drew Brees back and forth. He went down. They scored a touchdown. Then that touchdown run where he scrambled for like I think 25 something yards and ran it in. And of course, with seconds on the clock, boom, 3 drives in a row, dueling out Drew Brees, who was considered at that time the best quarterback at that time. That is a fun moment, and I will never forget what I was doing that day. And it was fun. And I was like, all the harsh things I said about Alex Smith, I take it all back. You proved me wrong. And he still did not throw 300 yards, but he won. It's just unfortunately the following week, our wonderful friend YTC always wants to remind us what happened the following week. But that was a great, great moment.
What about you, Mr. McNiner? What's your fondest memory, or what's a good memory? It doesn't have to be the fondest, but what's a memory that makes you feel good about the 49ers?
Well, I gotta go all the way back to 1989 when we beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. You know, it was actually a comeback victory because they were up. You know, they were up 13-6, and we scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. You know, and that was the game that Chris Collinsworth got emotional damage. So, I mean, I have to go all the way back to that game because it was a seriously hard fought game, and it is actually the reason why Chris Collinsworth is the biggest Niners hater out of all the announcers I've ever seen. Yep.
My favorite moment, and you guys kind of have already heard this. I think I've told you too, Tony. My favorite moment is the catch to the Steve Young, T.O. It is the moment. Like for me, one of the biggest things for me is like it was a moment me and my dad got to spend some time together. We went to a neighbor's house. It was like I'm part of the guys, you know, like hey, you know, I'm getting to go somewhere, you know, like we're gonna watch the game together, you know. And then the whole time, my dad's friend was just like not trash talking me because he's very respectable, but he was a Packer fan. He just, you know, he was a believer. And by the end of the day, you know, the end of the game, he wasn't talking, and I I was so excited. I didn't overreact or anything like that because, you know, like I was a little nervous. You know, it's like, how do you react? You know, like this guy's Packer fan. You know, you don't, your dad's friend. You know, so. But I was very excited. I was very excited. I could see my dad was excited too, and I really walked out of there. Was like, man, Steve Young's the man. You know, T.O.'s the man. The Niners are the team, and you know, it's really sad to think about what happened after because that was a really good team. We should have won a couple Super Bowls with that team, but sad. Garrison Hurst broke his ankle, and we all know what happened after that. You know, Steve Young got injured, and then Jeff Garcia, he took over, but he just wasn't Steve Young. So, but still, even with that, I mean, we really haven't had a good quarterback since Jeff Garcia. With thinking about passing statistics, but with that, guys, I appreciate everybody coming on. Let's go ahead and end the show. Everybody, go ahead and tell us what we got going on with the rest of the week with everybody's days. And Tony, I'm gonna do the invite. Ryan, I know he doesn't mind me. I'm gonna send you the link and stuff. I'd like to see you pop in on Friday night. We have a little bit more of a unfiltered chat. We talk a little bit more about different things, but we talk mainly 49ers. It might only be for 20 minutes, but we go for a couple hours.
So the only thing I ask is no frozen pea and toenails, please.
And I can guarantee that from Tony. Tony is not that guy.
Or anything along those lines.
Tony, I'll fill you in.
Don't want you getting creative, later. Tony.
Tony, can you show us what's in your refrigerator?
Oh. Oh no! He's like, nah.
Tony, I'll fill you in with the inside jokes. You don't have to show us. Okay, if you want to show us that's fine.
Hold up. Well, remember, Coronas didn't have anything. All I saw was frozen peas, so it's kind of.
Oh man, the dude said he had a baby cut up in there, and I called him out. He's like, "What?"
Oh.
He might have said baby cow.
I'll just I'll just show the most important thing in the refrigerator.
Oh,
there
space
we
stuff.
go.
There you go.
There we go.
You ever had a Super Fuzz?
No, not yet.
Okay. It's a blood orange beer by them. And what some people do is they'll do half and half, Space Dust and Super Fuzz.
Just so I'll get the variety pack. We'll have to get
story
together.
About IPAs. I was down in San Diego, right? And I got an IPA because I just got off the plane. And my buddy's like, yeah, get an IPA. You know, you're thirsty. So I drank it down and I got a head change off of one of them. And I was like, why the hell am I getting a head change off one beer? It was 22.6.
So you know why IPAs were invented?
No.
So the British, they invented the IPAs. And what it was is you had to have something for the troops. And they had, you know, they were colonial, you know what I mean? So they had India over there. Mm-hmm. So they had to make a beer that could last the trip to India. And it had to, you know, obviously have a kick. So they came up with the IPAs, and that's where it was. It was able to last the trip. And also the other good thing about like the microbrews and stuff like this is they have better ingredients. So you don't just get like a, you know, the alcohol buzz, you also get the euphoria, which is a good, that's what I like. I like a good euphoric buzz. So I can like, you know, I like to paint when I'm euphoric.
Corey Davis Corey Davis, if you're ready, let me know what you got going on your channel.
Oh, you're muted.
Part B?
Corey.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was talking to my brother right there.
No worries, I'm sorry.
What we gonna do this week?
Yeah, what you got going on this week?
Well, Thursday, we have 49 trivia. So, Tony, subscribe to my channel. And you come and you be part of our trivia on Thursday.
Oh,
and then,
boy.
I have to talk to YTC and see if we can do it again on Friday. His trivia time. And then I'll be going after that, go right to a man here, Nobody Sports channel.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. John, what do you got going on this week with your channel? I know you were trying to go live this weekend and something didn't happen. And then were you supposed to go live today?
I took a few days off, you know, wanting to clear my head. But tomorrow I'm doing a show, talk about the players that the Niners, you know, have met, a bunch of tight ends and wide receivers. So I want to discuss that. Shifty and I are doing a mock draft, unfortunately, because he lives in Ireland. We got to change up the podcast, so me and him will figure it out. But so tomorrow, Thursday, I'm doing a show.
Thinking about doing like a pre-record with Shifty?
No, we're going live. We're going live.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then next week is back to schedule. Hopefully, no more. You know, no more. I don't need no more time to clear my head. So I just want to just start to go back. Hopefully, no more issues. You know.
Are you trying to have your shows at like a certain time during the day? Like, is it gonna be like 11 o'clock show, or are they gonna be like 3 o'clock shows?
See, tomorrow it's gonna be 11:30 in the morning because I got nothing to do in the morning, but in the afternoon I'll be busy. So that's the time where I'm not busy. And then me and Shifty, I think we're gonna do at 1 o'clock. I'm gonna reach out to him at midnight because it'll be 8 o'clock over there in the morning. So I'm gonna reach out to him at that time. So, but that's what I'm doing this week. And then on Monday is back to Daily content.
Awesome. Mr. Ryan, what do you got going on? I know you're a busy man.
I got a show on my channel tomorrow with Joe Stevens.
Who's that?
Yeah, who's that? Thursday, I think I don't have a show. I might have to figure out how to fill the gap on Thursday. And then Friday, you know me, back at it with the Friday night call-in show. We'll probably start at around 6. Mondays, I got the NWO show, NWO podcast, and Tuesdays, usually Niners and Friends. So, which I had one tonight. So before this, and next week it will be on Beto's channel. So tune in.
David, before what do you got going on? Are you popping on anybody special this week, or are you gonna be you coming on Friday night?
Well, of course, I'm going to be on Korey's trivia stream on Thursday. And Tony, I gotta warn you, if you want to come to that book, that book is like, it's insane. You make sure you listen to the question word for word, and actually think about it before you answer. Trust me, it's crazy. It's like. Whoever thought about that book, it has to be some sort of genius. I'll say that. But yeah, it looks like I'll be on the Hangout stream Friday. I don't quite know when. Probably about midway point at this point. Kind of depends on what happens. So,
Yeah. I know, if a lady comes by, there's no reason not to take her out and say hello, So we always invite you on the Friday shows, but we always do the same thing. I always invite you on the Saturday. But again, like sometimes if you're occupied, we appreciate you being occupied. We know you're having fun, So it's not like you're always welcome. So I'll be having
Jim's in tree trunks rocking the P-Funk, knocking her knees up. Sorry.
I'll be going on Korey's show Thursday. Ryan's show more than likely on Friday. I like going on Ryan's show. I think I'm going to call myself Batman, but he might think I'm his Robin, and that's okay. But I'm not wearing no green tights or nothing like that. My Saturday show this week, I'll send an invite to the panel, and on my Sunday show I'll have a different panel. So everybody's more than welcome to come in, but the Saturday show is going to be a different group, and the Sunday show will be a different group. It's not always going to be like that, but I have a special panel coming in on Saturday, and it's not that no one's ever invited or not invited. It's sometimes you can only get some people on at a certain time. So I'm going to try to keep it cordial, and again, everybody's invited on the Sunday show. We'll have a lot of fun. And Tony, I really want you to start making this more of a regular habit, because you are, again, hella cool and a vast of knowledge. You are like super does anybody have a question for Tony before we leave?
You gonna be back next week?
I'm gonna do my best.
I love it.
All right, man. You gonna come by on Friday?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Do my best, yeah.
All right, man. We'll see you.
All right, man.
Come in Thursday.
All right,
guys. Yeah, you got to go in Thursday. You can miss Friday, but don't miss Korey Thursday. Korey's the man.
Yeah, you can miss Saturday.
Unless you like
Sunday.
Watching
don't miss
trains
Thursday.
derail.
Oh.
All right,
we have an 8-hour train derailment.
Ryan, briefly tell them about your stream on your epic 8-hour stream.
Oh, no, just go to No Border Sports, right? Hit the subscribe button real quick, and then go back and find the Friday night call-in under the live tab. And in the description, there's chapters, and you can find out for yourself. There's an Egypt rap. There's a samurai rap. There's an Ed Norton rap. There's also a gentleman who freezes his pee, so he doesn't have to fail a UA. There was there's some crazy guys that came in and started talking about wrestling. And yeah, it was a very intriguing night. There's so much. Oh, there was also a clash between two people. One of them being here. He had it out with another person that came on, and he definitely spoke his piece. But that was an interesting.
It's a call-in show, so like all kinds of people randomly could call in, and sometimes we get some weirdos. I think we've only had like 3 or 4 since me and Ryan's been kind of hanging out together. We had one guy, I like to call him the duct tape guy, but he was just all dressed in black, and he asked about
which is crazy because like he was all dressed in black, but when he came back the second time, he was all dressed in white.
Strange.
Like he had like we call it the baklava mask, you know, the one with the black mask with the eyes holes and the mouth hole. You know, just that. Yeah. So he's like, this puffy jacket comes in, then he's like, do you guys like to jerk off? So I was like, okay, you gotta go. Yeah. And then like he comes back later and he's in all white. Like he's in the white mask. He's in the white puffy jacket, a white shirt. And I'm like, what is up with this guy?
Because he's a different character now, right? He's not the same guy.
I guess the other one, so if he's dressed in black, that might have been the mischievous one. And then he's dressed in white, so he must have been, you know, like the angel, the nice one, you know. So, but I didn't let him back on.
Nah. No. But no, Tony, you don't have to hang out the whole show, but as long as you want, you want to come in and just talk a little bit. We have a lot of fun people that pop in. A lot of jokes are dropped. I told a couple jokes this morning. I'll tell it. Well, no, I won't tell any more that I already told this evening. I'm not going to try to think of one right off the hand. And with that, guys, Tony, I'll talk to you here soon. And everybody appreciate you coming on. And go Niners, guys.
And then one more question, Tony.
One more question.
What's your last name?
It's actually different from the one that I have posted. It's actually a really long last name. It's Sun Kayawan.
Should probably just text it to have Bryant text it to Korey. That'd probably be
Bryant text it to me.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Peace out.
Go 49ers and F the Lambs.
Yep.
Again, thanks for coming, everybody. Have a good night.
And F the rest of the teams, not the play.
All right, we are out.
All right.
Peace.